we ready to go? If it gets hot in here, just wave.
No,
Like-
Come on, guys, come on. It's hot in here. Or it will get.
Okay, we're 1 o'clock.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Glad to see everybody here. It's the regular meeting of the Village of Ruidoso Village Council. It's October the 8th. It's 1 o'clock. If you will stand with me for a moment of silence, and then we'll have the pledge. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico as the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
All right, you may be seated. Thank you, everyone. And I will tell you, if you know that, you're in the minority. Most people in New Mexico do not know the state of New Mexico pledge. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Mayor Crawford,
Here.
Councilor Eby, Councilor Letterman,
Here.
Councilor Salas,
Here.
Councilor Hooker,
Here.
Councilor Jackson.
Here.
Councilor Corey is absent. Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. If I get a motion to approve today's agenda, giving the chairman the ability to move the items around on the agenda, please.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the agenda as presented and allow the chair to move items for discussion at will.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilor Jackson,
Aye.
Councilor Letterman,
Aye.
Councilor Eby,
Aye.
Councilor Salas,
Aye.
Councilor Hooker.
Aye.
All right, thank you, everybody. I want to go ahead and run through the consent regular items, and then we'll move on to some other, we got folks in here that have short time. We need to get them back to work. So item number 1 is approval of governing body minutes, September 10th, 2024 regular meeting, September the 18th, 2024 special meeting, October the 1st, 2024 workshop meeting. Item number 2, approval of award of ITB number 2025-002B for automated fuel dispensing services to Bell Gas. Item number 3, approval of the contract to Bell Gas, Inc. for automated fuel dispensing services awarded via ITB number 2025-002B. Item number 4, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on November the 12th, 2024 for ordinance 2024-25, an ordinance modifying Chapter 54, Land Use, Article 4, Flood Hazard Regulations, Section 54-327, basis for establishing areas of special flood hazard, 54-329, compliance with Article and other regulations, and Section 54-338, specific standards. Item number 5, approval of request to schedule a public hearing on November the 12th, 2024 for consideration of a wine grower off-site liquor license to Pecos Flavors Winery, LLC, for the proposed location at 1056 Meacham Drive, Ruidoso, New Mexico.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent items as read.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Councilor Hooker,
Aye.
Councilor Jackson,
Aye.
Councilor Salas,
Aye.
Councilor Letterman,
Aye.
Councilor Eby.
Aye.
Okay, and thanks for indulging me down there, Counselor. If we could, I'd like to move to mayoral reports and presentations. First, we'll go ahead and do the presentation of new employees and promotions. And so we have some new employees. Kelly Airgood, Parks and Recreation Maintenance. There you go. Thank you, Kelly. Are you from here, Kelly?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. We're glad to have you. And we need you. Thank you very much. Ezekiel Leva, Parks and Rec? Hello, Ezekiel. These guys did a whole lot, not just during the fire, but now with all the rain we had, T-Bone's got them all busy. Everybody's calling saying we need to mow this and mow that. Carrie Lester, Parks and Rec, rec leader. There you go. Nice to meet you. And Jake LeMay, Parks and Rec. Attaboy, Jake. Thank you. Now, we're glad to have you guys. I know it's been shorthanded for a while. Thank you very much. Promotions, Alex Salas, Street Department, Heavy Equipment Operator. Attaboy, Alex. Did you want to say something, Alex? Are you sure? Okay. Alexandra Kazi Kiergan. Street Department, Heavy Equipment Operator. Did I get your name close, buddy? 9 o'clock. Everybody knows I got a real thick tongue. So, and at the end of December, we're going to lose our fire chief. He's retiring. And so we lost our assistant chief. And so we have a promotion here for Cade Hall. Captain is going to be our new interim assistant fire chief. Congratulations, Cade. Cade's got 19 years, so he can retire at 20.
And that's in December too, right?
So we're going to see what we can do to not change all that. But thank you, Cade, for stepping up. We appreciate you guys doing everything that you do and all of the things that you've done. The village owes you guys a real big debt of gratitude, and thank you. Thank you for stepping up. Also, during that, we want to do presentation of retirement plaque. Jared is not here. He's a captain. Started the same day that Cade did. And he took his retirement, and he's got a business now where he's hauling a lot of debris. He and his brother, Cody, who retired a couple of years ago. And so he's not here today, so we'll make sure that he gets his plaque. But we appreciate everything that Jared Wilson did for all the service that he had here at the village, started in 2005.
Yay.
Now we can have our forester, Jennifer Thomas, come on up. She's our district ranger. I saw her in here. There she is. Thank you, guys. And you guys can go back to work. Thank you for everything.
Yeah,
So-
there they go.
There goes the roof.
Appreciate you guys.
It's almost nap time for the fire guys, so, yeah,
Do they know what you drive?
yeah.
Good afternoon, Jennifer. Who do you have with you?
Good afternoon, Mayor Crawford.
Is that on?
Councilors.
Is it green?
Green light.
Okay, cool.
There you go. So the people worldwide can hear you now.
So I am currently the Bear Bar Coordinator, and I am working out of the SO. So currently, this is Josh Dubois. He is Acting District Ranger.
Josh Dubois.
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 Yes.
Welcome.
Just acting for this week. I work at the SO though, as well as the deputy fire staff for fuels and fire ecology.
Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So we were hoping to be able to have some slides and a PowerPoint for y'all. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the pictures and stuff together quick enough in order to get that to you. But I do know on our website and our Facebook account, there are pictures. So we had done aerial seeding. We actually completed that last week on Monday. We had mapped 1,136 acres, so that was seeded on Monday. This week, the mulching is going in. They started that yesterday. They are hoping to complete that within the next 4 days. And there is mapped 594 acres. So
What part is this of the 1,000-acre seeding?
So a lot of it is up in the boundary area between us and Mescalero, where the slope isn't too steep, where it actually could get a foothold. We also have some up in the Alto area. So there's little polygons all around. I believe that also is on our website. If you'd like, I can send you a map of kind of
Okay,
where this
no, I can
mulching is going on.
go check. Is any of it Blue 2 or is it all South Fork?
It is all South Fork. Unfortunately, we did not get any funding approved for Blue 2. The seeding and mulching that is going on for the South Fork fire was originally put forth as a burned area emergency recovery response. It actually was funded through our burned area recovery. So there are two differences in funding sources. So the burned area recovery is actually funded currently through the bill and IRA funding sources from the federal government.
Okay, so who approves that or does not approve?
That is approved through Washington office.
From the Washington office. Okay, so that's Heinrich, if y'all want to listen, that's USDA, because he's the one that told us that this was going to happen, so he did that. And so we were just concerned, is there going to be any more that's going to be done on that area? Because out of the, how many thousands that were burned?
17.
Yeah.
And that was the total acreage of the fire. Unfortunately, we're only allowed to do work on Forest Service lands. So we're not allowed to do any work on any private or any mescalero lands. So
I
Okay, so,
watched him in Upper Canyon yesterday.
yeah, well, we've been getting phone calls for a week. So the 1,000 acres is all the forestry had burned?
We actually had more than that burned, however, due to the slope and the ability of the areas to actually be able to take the seed and it actually be worthwhile, that's kind of why we were reduced to the acreage that we were.
Okay. Is there going to be anything over on 70 on the salt fire?
That is actually
Mescalero?
mostly Mescalero tribal lands. I do know that they were looking into doing some aerial seeding and mulching. I believe the aerial seeding might have started this week, only we had not gotten specific confirmation. We are still meeting with the Mescalero tribe every Friday regarding our bear and bar for South Fork and salt fires. So we do know they're kind of closely connected.
Okay.
We also do have our forest hydrologist who is also working with the state in their watershed recovery meetings that they are conducting every Thursday. We have not gotten any updates, plus I also know our hydrologist was out on a fire assignment recently. So I know he may not have been at the most recent meetings.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions?
I do, Mr. Mayor. I had seen recently, and I couldn't find it again, but was there a point where there was saplings that were available via the Forest Service for people to go get?
So we do potentially have some saplings that will be available for us to get. We did actually have a reforestation project going on. We do have a contractor who is currently doing some reforestation work. They were not moving as quickly as we had hoped, so we are not 100% sure, but we do suspect that we are going to have some saplings that will be available for public use.
But it hasn't happened yet?
Not
Okay.
yet. As soon as it does, I will most definitely
Sure.
let you guys know.
Sure. Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Does anyone else have? Go ahead.
Question I had, what seed are you putting out? What type of seed? That's the one I've been getting.
So it is a combination, so it is 100% weed-free. We are doing a lot of natural seeds, so you put blue grama in there, and I don't have the mixture exactly in front of me.
Okay.
But we did put a seed that was barley seed, and that is actually one that will take hold and root quicker. So while the other seeds are being established, and it is a one-time seed, so it will not proliferate past the first seeding.
Okay, and then the picnic ground, Cedar Creek and the camp, all that burn area, was that seeded?
It was not.
Okay.
So we had portions of it that were, but not the whole area.
Not the whole thing, so hay won't be dropped in that area?
No, and we do currently have a area closure order in effect of where we are actually seeding. And that's just basically to protect the hunters and anybody that's out in the area. And I don't think they want straw dropping on the top of their.
Of course,
tents,
yeah,
so.
that's,
But,
but they were,
yeah.
the question I have, will they close the trails again for dropping the hay? And I said, I don't even know if they're gonna do this area.
So the closure order went in effect on the 1st. Our contract with the company that's doing the aerial seeding and mulching is a 15-day contract, so
Okay.
they should be done by the 15th. We did have the closure order in effect through the 15th, but if they are completed earlier, we will rescind the order earlier.
Okay, that's good. going back to the watershed stuff, are you doing any flood retention in Paradise or Perk Canyon and here in Cedar Creek?
So we have not currently done any flood in-stream treatments for flood mitigation. Currently, when they were going through our burned area emergency response, they determined that, and that's typically through the first year, they determined anything that we would do within stream would potentially cause more hazards and potentially become debris through the first flooding season. So plus the first flooding season happened quicker than we could actually get in to implement anything. We are potentially looking at doing some treatments, but probably not within the first year. Although with our BEAR, and that's our burn emergency area response, basically we can't do point protection for private sources, and we can only do treatments on Forest Service lands that potentially impact Forest Service infrastructure. So we didn't have much there other than the trails work, so we are working on trail stabilization, but nothing currently in the stream beds.
Okay. And the question, and I just forwarded to your office over there, when did the $5 fee for the picnic area take effect?
That actually took effect April 1st. We do know we had signage and a lot of public information that was out there. With everything that was going on, it is kind of a slow roll, but that was implemented April 1st.
Okay, because I got, not many, about 3 or 4 calls that said, hey, they're charging us to have our lunch over here. And I go, wow, there's the forest office down the street. Go get a refund or something, or go to Two River Park or something like that, but.
Yeah, and that was basically instituted, and it was publicly scoped 2 years ago, and as well again last year, and it finally was implemented in April 1st. And a lot of the funding that they are charging is actually to go back in to the recreational areas for upkeep of the picnic tables and the pavilions, and so it is funneled back into the recreational area.
Will you replace the pavilion at Cedar Creek?
We are looking to do some requests for funding to have some of our Washington office folks come in and do some assessments in the area to see what area, what would be best for the area. We are looking to reopen and revamp the area. What that looks like now, it's too soon for us to tell.
Okay.
Plus, it also depends a lot on the funding that we receive. So we are requesting additional funding. Right now, everything that we have received funding for, we are implementing, but we are requesting additional funding.
Okay.
Mayor, I have a question. Even on the campgrounds like Sam Tobias,
Yes.
you're looking at rebuilding the restroom and the pavilions?
Yeah, we are looking at the campgrounds. Potentially, they're looking to, instead of having them group campgrounds, turning them into individual campgrounds. So we're looking at all possibilities of the area, and we want to make sure that the area is safe before we reopen. So we do know it is going to take some time. They probably will be closed for the next year, if not longer.
I hope you don't do it for individual, because those are such nice reunion and celebration areas.
Yeah, and we are still going to keep group areas as well.
Okay.
So it's not going to be strictly, we are
Okay.
going to do a mixture, but again, we're not sure where it makes sense to actually put the areas, especially with the changing climate with the increased water flow.
Okay.
So we are looking to get funding to have them assessed and see what best looks for the area. As for the trails, we are also doing some assessments. Our goal is to actually keep and get everything else open as quickly as we can.
Okay.
So what meetings are you talking about on Thursday? Do we have somebody at those?
This is the Thursday conference calls that we have with the whole group on the watershed plan.
And it's strictly watershed, we're not, because a lot of the stuff that's happening up there affects downstream, and that's some of the questions that we do have, that we're getting nothing. And we're working with the tribe too, because there needs to be diversion, retention, all that stuff upstream. before it comes into the community. And I know we work with the government all the time. In fact, we were supposed to be at the forestry meeting in Taos today and tomorrow, but I'm not going to be there. But aren't y'all going to be there?
And Dick.
Okay. To keep us up to date on talking about forestry methods and some of the stuff that we've been talking to our congressional delegates about management of the forest instead of ignoring the forest. In the state, we've already talked to those guys too, and they seem to have an appetite for that, but we don't seem to be getting that from the national. So those are things that we need to be talking about with our watershed, because all of that is dependent upon all of that. We signed a contract for $50 million to start protecting our watershed in Eagle Creek, which most all of that is, not all of it, but a lot of it is national forest. And so it would go without saying that we should be included in that discussion somehow. And we're not talking about that, or we are?
I don't think that we really touched on, we're just talking about the H&H study right now. I think,
Okay, because we had to do our own floodplain and floodway studies because it was going to take years for the feds to get in here and do that. And we've got people, some are sitting in here now, trying to move on with their lives. And these are questions that we're trying to get answered, so. And I was told that we weren't dropping straw, that we were dropping some of our local timber that was going to be masticated, shredded into some kind of material. That's not happening?
No, due to the cost and expense of the wood mulch, that we went with the straw mulch. It would have been quicker, plus it is more cost effective, and we were able to get a larger area covered with mulch by going with the straw mulch. And that is also weed-free. If you guys want the certificates, they are online, and I would be happy to send you guys copies of those, because we do certify that all of the seed and the mulch is weed-free.
No, we were just in a meeting, I don't even remember which one, where they were saying that they don't use straw because it dries up, blows away, washes away. This new material is made from the trees that came out of the forest. So that was talked about, it just wasn't done because of cost.
It was talked about.
Okay.
Mayor, I had a question for Jennifer. I was on a site visit with the NRCS. There's a location there on North Loop, and 10 feet behind a home is U.S. Forest lands. They're wanting to place trash racks in that area to stop the flooding and debris coming down. They said they spoke to the Forest Service and it's not allowed. Is there a method or a process that someone we can talk to about doing that? Because that whole area is being, every time we have a rain event, it's being flooded. And we need to be able to build those, but it's gonna be there on U.S. Forest Service land.
Just like we did treatments with McBride, they can apply for a special use permit. We are more than willing to work with our sister agencies such as NRCS. Since it is on Forest Service lands, they do need to apply for a special use permit. Within the special use permit, we do require the type of item that they're looking to install within the stream beds, plus the planning of maintaining that as well as removal when it is no longer needed. But we are willing to look at any special use permit. Unfortunately, that is something that the Forest Service does not have the authority to install currently, is those items.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Oh, I got one.
Yes, sir, Joe.
I recall during the Little Bear Fire that when the Little Bear Fire Coalition used to have their meetings at least once every couple of weeks or at least once a month, that we would be visited by the Mescalero Forestry, and they would have discussions with the community and also the local forester department here, the Smoky Bear District. So I was just wondering, do you all keep in communication with them, and what is their process as far as getting the money? You're saying that was released from Washington for you all to do the seeding and the dropping of the hay here just recently, because I think you said that there was nothing that you know of being done as far as any type of seeding or rehabilitation for the salt fire areas, because we have a lot of interest down Highway 70. There's a lot of people that do get affected by that runoff from the salt fire. So I was wondering if you all are in communication with them, Do you know of anything that's been moving forward?
Yes, sir. So we do have weekly meetings with the Mescalero tribe regarding our bear bar. Along with that, unfortunately, since they are a different entity and the BIA is a different agency, the funding sources come from different areas. So unfortunately, we couldn't merge our funding sources to make the, when the funding occurred at the same time to kind of do a group effort. We were looking for that, but with the different agencies, we were not able to make that happen. They are looking to do some seeding and mulching. In what areas, since a lot of that is Mescalero tribal land. I do know we had a very, very small sliver that was on Forest Service. And so we are looking into that, but it was such a small amount that that wasn't even considered for seeding and mulching on Forest Service lands. But I do know that the tribe is actively moving forward with that as well.
Okay, so it would just be the tribe as far as who would be the squeaky wheel to make noise to try to get some sort of help as far as the restoration and seeding and so on?
I will be more than happy to relay your name to the tribe when I meet with them on Friday.
Thank you.
Well, we meet with Dora and all those guys anyway, and they're doing this the same as we are, because the conversation had started some time ago, and that's why I know it's not your fault, but it's just frustrating. We don't get to talk about thinning. We don't get to talk about cleaning it up. All we hear about is we couldn't put the fire out because of where it was. And then it gets so difficultly hot that it's jumping treetop to treetop. And then we're getting, when the fire was here, we're getting calls, in Alto that the fire embers are landing there from the winds, from the tops. And so that's the discussion that we're being told from Heinrich and Ben Ray Lujan and Melanie Stansberry and other people with USDA that is over NRCS and all those, that there are discussions being done about talking about micro businesses, thinning, selective, not clear cut, all of the different things that we've had discussions with before, but they've not gone anywhere. And you probably couldn't tell me if you had been in a meeting where y'all even brought that up, could you?
So we have multiple projects that are going on regarding thinning and doing some cutting. I do know the last 4 that the Smoky Bear Ranger District sent out for commercial bid, we had no bids. So unfortunately, the Smoky Bear Ranger District, since we didn't have any commercial takers, we turned some of them into commercial fuel wood areas to see if we could get some thinning done. We're having some success with that, plus so the remaining ends up on our fire and fuels on the district to kind of take care of those areas. I would love to have some folks come in and us to actually, when we do send something out for commercial bid, to actually have bidders and take the wood. But unfortunately, like I said, the last 4, we have had absolutely no bidders. So it's not that we are not doing the work. We would love to do the work. It's just with the area, and since a lot of commercial bidders are not interested, it's been slowing us down in what we actually would like to accomplish.
Because we meet with those folks all the time. And when we go get grants to do thinning in the village, and we don't get much help from the state either, that's supposed to be changing. We have people standing around wanting to bid on these jobs, and our forester, who's not here, but he works a lot of those bids here that we clean what forest that we have, and even some that can go on private property. But we'll have to see if we can't get more involved in that when those
Is there
come.
a special, are they licensed? Do they have to be, like, if you work on the military base, you have to have a special permit, or you have to be through the GSA? Do you have to be part of that for the Forest Service?
So there are specific bidders and there are restrictions that they do have to follow. And unfortunately, that's not my purview, so I can't speak
That's
to
a
that.
lot of the reason then, because,
It's too hard to qualify.
Yeah.
And it comes around once every blue moon, so they can't make a living if they're local. Well, we just need to check into that, because we have people all the time. We've got a list of people right now that are saying they want to do these kind of things. And so we're just trying to find out why we don't have access to it. And you say there is, so we'll check into that for them and see if we can't find out what we got to do to get these people licensed or certified or sanctified or whatever else it is that we got to do. So, all right, does anybody else have anything? Okay, well, thank you very much for being here. I know that we're excited. Hopefully we get enough rain to get the seeds to start. And,
We are hoping that even with the snowfall and before the spring runoff, that those actually will be able to
something take hold.
take hold.
Excellent.
So,
Okay, well, thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, up next, we'll have quarterly update from Stephanie Garcia, Executive Director of the Ruidoso Midtown Association, and update on the status of the repairs of the digital sign that somebody keeps taking out. So maybe we just need to, is that the kiosk down by the bathroom?
It is, yes, sir. So, notice there's another beer bottle,
Yep.
ding in it. So, yeah, we've got.
Is it a beer bottle or somebody just punching it?
They think that it's a beer bottle because that's, just the way that it's making it. They think that people are down there at the restrooms, maybe a little intoxicated and
Yep.
then upset at something and take it out on the sign. So, we tried to get insurance to cover it. We do not have insurance on that kiosk. I have two different bids coming from MetroClick. One of them is $11,637. That is for a brand-new unit. That does not include any of the concrete work that would need to be done to take that thing out of there because it is a permanent fixture that's in there. So we would have to get a bid for that as well. And then we have a refurbished bid that comes in about $9,500. I have asked our sales rep over there a couple of different times if we can do payments on a refurbished one, if the refurbished one is still available and if it will function, and if we can still have the same warranty on that. So that if something does happen and we have, you know, I'm sure we've all had something refurbished at some point. It may or may not work the entire time. So those are the questions I have into him about that. We do have an event coming up, so hopefully we will start to be able to put some money in the bank to get that fixed. And then our digital billboard is officially up and running. It officially
Looks good.
Yes, it looks really, really good. So we had Jamie Rupley worked diligently on that, trying to get stuff taken care of. Since it was ordered by previous administration, the company would not tell us any of the stuff, so we had to kind of hunt down our order, and they kept saying, we got everything, and we kept saying, no, we didn't get everything. Well, we did not get everything, and so they finally broke down, sent us the rest of the stuff. We've got it all hooked up, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So it is ready for all Discover Ruidoso ads, all Visit Ruidoso ads. It's also going to be open to any Midtown businesses that want to put promotional stuff on there, if they have events coming up, if they have sales coming up, if they want to do anything for, you know, Christmas, spring break, anything. So, and then it is all, of course, whatever the village needs to put up there is all going to go through.
And this
Terry.
is
Yeah.
the signs that are at the Country Club area park, right there on the corner, where every Saturday's been a marketplace and whatever. When did that get put up?
It got put up,
I just noticed it yesterday. Has it been there a while?
so it's been there for a while, yes, sir. The work has actually been done on it since, I want to say, I had just.
And it's been on this whole time, Eddie?
No, it has not been on.
Yeah, I mean,
So
but it's working.
It was on for, we had one side working whenever we first got it on, and then made sure the other side worked. And then that's where it all came down to, they didn't want to send us the correct size cable that we needed to connect the two of them. And that's where Jamie had to work with that company to try to get all that stuff, because it was ordered from somebody else. It wasn't ordered from any of us that were on
Okay.
the account. Yes, sir.
Okay,
But it is up and ready for advertising.
okay. And so what's the event? You said you have an event?
We have Halloween coming up. So we have the Midtown Halloween coming up. We are super excited about it. We've got a lot of businesses coming out to sponsor. So we're able to have more categories in our coffin races, which is really nice, so that we're not going to have the cheerleaders running against the firefighters. That's always really fun. And then, although they did beat them twice in a row. And then, so we're actually doing it a little bit more streamlined this year. Everything is able to set up. You can sign up for everything online. You can go to the website. There's going to be a QR code. It's going to be super easy. So people will be able to sign up for everything ahead of time. We're also going to do a trunk or treat, and that will kind of serpentine the line so people aren't just like in one mile-long line going around.
And what day is that?
That's going to be October 30th.
Okay,
Wednesday, October
Wednesday.
30th. Yes, sir, for that early release.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you guys should start seeing all those flyers. We've got everything finalized. We've got I'm really excited. We have LaGrone is one of our trunk or treats.
Oh,
We're
good.
gonna bring the hearse and a coffin.
Funeral home.
So I know it's a little morbid, but they're gonna be at the start of the coffin race. I thought it would be kind of fun. So we're hoping that, you know, with our business sponsors and then along with having, people signing up for the coffin race ahead of time, we're hoping that we'll be able to see some revenue come in for that. And then that we can give more cash prizes away to the locals, because this has always been a locals event. And so instead of doing a $500 cash prize for one category of coffin races, we've got enough to do 500 cash prize for all three categories.
nice.
Yeah, so we're gonna advertise to the booster clubs at the school, like the firefighters and the cops and village, that would be really fun. Put Eddie in a coffin and then, run him down. And then, we're also gonna do the pumpkin roll as well, again, you know, and do that. And then we're gonna do the costume contest where we're gonna have the stage, Everett's gonna MC it, so.
What time does this start?
It's gonna be from 3 to 6.
Okay,
Yes, sir. And then, gonna be shut down where it's normally shut down from, Country Club to Grindstone. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
excellent.
It's good. We've got some good plans for this one. We're hoping that it's gonna be bigger and better.
Yeah.
All the kids show up and
Yeah.
businesses have their stuff, but it's not to be confused with the other trunk or treat.
Mayor and council members, we have on the October 31st, we have the churches all getting together with a trunk or treat event that will be from 5 to 7 over at the convention center parking lot.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're working on that.
Excellent. And so we've got a meeting coming up pretty quick with the RMA board to talk
We
about.
do have, we're gonna have a new Halloween committee meeting coming up, for that, and then we will actually have a board meeting right before our, Halloween. So we'll have a couple more meetings before that happens, and then, we can make sure that we've got Eddie there.
So you have a special guest here. Where's she at? You want to come on up right quick since we're, yes, ma'am. So I don't know. Sam, thank you.
They're all-
No, you're not leaving. You're good.
Right here.
But Sam here is with Xterra
Yes.
that the village has landed. And would you tell everybody exactly what Xterra is? Because it's a pretty prestigious thing.
Yes, so Xterra is an off-road triathlon and trail running brand. We're expanding into more of just a general outdoor lifestyle brand. So we're really excited to be coming into Ruidoso. It's a hidden gem out here, and we can't wait to work with the community.
Oh, nice.
And so we were going to meet with RMA to discuss all the buy-in from the businesses. Are we getting that done?
That's Thursday, correct, yes.
That's Thursday. Okay, that's where I was headed. I just want to thank you for being flexible and getting on that, whatever. But that's how important we think Xterra is to the community. It's a good quality event and gets people outside, so that's great. So, anything else that you can think of from RMA?
Not at the moment. We're just trying to continue on, and I've got, I've been letting the, Midtown know, as, you know, quarterly they'll get emails from me. We actually did a whole, handout, like went and canvassed, to let them know that we are providing candy for them this year, that they do not have to worry about that.
Oh, wow.
We're gonna have a drop-off and pickup location for that. Albertsons is hopefully gonna be donating. Walmart will not get back to us, so I don't know about that. But Marcus over at Albertsons is really cool. And then we've got Chamber doing some, we've got Village doing some, we've got some businesses donating money for that. So yeah, so we've been really pounding the pavement hard and trying to make sure that we can take that burden off of the businesses this year.
So the Ruidoso Midtown Association works with all the businesses downtown. So what's the general consensus from the businesses? I know they were struck real hard in June, July.
They were struck real hard in
August.
June and July, so, July, people were still telling me 75 to 80% down. August, they started seeing a couple more hitting that 60, and then, we've got some that are actually like 25, 26% down at this point. We are still seeing some businesses in that kind of like 50 to 60% area. A lot of them are not able to be open as long. A lot of them have gotten rid of employees, so it's the owners and the managers that are there. Backcountry attitude,
Yeah.
that's where we're at. So, you know, we're seeing more, you know, stay closed, you know, maybe that third day instead, you know, and being open 4 days as opposed to 5 now. But we're seeing them come back. We're seeing a lot of businesses, you know, a lot of people are staying open, which is really nice. A lot of them are trying to do what they can because they know that it's going to turn back
Improve.
around. They know it's gonna happen, they're just waiting for it to happen, but some of those businesses that have, they're still down, but they're like, we're at 25% down, so we're seeing it, there's hope there. Yeah, so people are seeing it come back, we're seeing more and more people down in Midtown, not just walking, but they actually have bags, because that's one of the things I always see, people say, town is busy, I'm like, yeah, but were they holding anything? Like,
Exactly.
that's kind of what matters, but I think the Motor Mountain Weekend, that definitely helped, to get everybody here with the 4x4 rally coming up, that definitely is gonna make a difference.
Which is this weekend, yes.
Yes, and I think, and then Johnny James came and he rode with Backcountry too, and I mean, I think just, those things of letting people know that, one of the biggest complaints I heard was, people were still posting that it's flooding, and the people kept posting the same things over and over, and so I think that people are seeing more positive things get posted. I think the news has actually stopped saying that we're gone, so
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It's,
exactly.
we're seeing improvement and we're seeing more optimism come back for sure.
And I only know of two personally businesses that have closed, and then another one bought the building, moved right in.
Right, right. Bought the building, moved right in. That was, if you're talking about the one that I know you're talking about, she was gonna sell it anyway. And then somebody came and said,
Oh, so the soap store?
oh, no, I was talking about Addie.
Oh, Addie, okay.
Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, she was ready.
Oh, yeah, she was
Somebody
one
came
to-
to her and was like, I've got clothes already.
Yeah,
put in
she's
them."
ready to.
Yeah,
And then the soap store, one of them
Yes.
closed up, and then Nelda, what's it called? Sabor's Gelato Store. She moved in. over
yes,
there.
moved right in and opened right up and was, or not open right, but yeah, moved right in. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we're seeing, I'm so sorry. We still have less vacancy than what we see in other, Main Street programs, which is really, really nice. We're sitting at like, I want to say like 98%,
Well, and
full.
the few that are being remodeled.
Yes.
The old Collages is getting close.
Collages
The old
and the
Dreamcatcher's looking
Dreamcatcher.
spectacular.
Yes.
So get us an update on what you're doing at,
At Boxcar Alley.
is that what you're calling it?
Yes,
No,
so-
is that what it's called?
Yeah, so it's gonna be, Boxcar Alley is gonna be the actual shipping container village, and
Yeah.
what we're doing is we're providing retail space, I'll be property manager there whenever that all
Okay.
opens up. So Backcountry Attitudes and Roots are going to share the, like the prime street space. And then we're gonna have two different food court areas, we're gonna have a rooftop bar, we're gonna have a distillery in there, that Justin Huffman is gonna do. We've got somebody who's gonna do jewelry, we hopefully are gonna have a glass blower, we're hopefully gonna have somebody doing like high-end crystals. We've got a lot of people going in, we're super
Excellent.
excited about it. And then, yeah, the memory storage is full on my camera today, I was supposed to get but we poured the concrete on the second floor today for the rooftop bar, so we're
Yeah.
really excited. So, and they're projecting February, to soft open, get people moved in there, and then we're really hoping for like a spring break grand opening. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's amazing, those box cars.
Yeah,
It's-
they're gonna
we're
look good.
super
I know
excited.
you're gonna be
Yeah.
cutting a lot of windows in street side.
It's gonna be a lot of windows street side, and then what we're doing is everybody who's going to get their first container, if you're the first one in there, you get to kind of tell us where you want your windows, your lights, all that good stuff, so we're trying to, kind of incentivize people to be the
Yeah.
first in there, that they get to really come up with their design. But we're seeing a lot of excitement for it, we're seeing a lot of people, because we're providing, I wanna say 8 to 12 retail spaces, depending on what we decide to do for
Gosh.
some of those sizes, so, yeah, we're excited. It's
Good
cool.
deal.
And we're gonna see some people in there that have never really got to have the chance to do brick and mortar, to finally get to do that, so it's
Excellent.
cool.
Excellent.
We're
A
excited.
lot of positive stuff. That's great. Okay.
And I also wanted to thank Stephanie in front of the council and mayor about, she has helped with getting the word out in Midtown Association for the opening of the
Wingfield
Wingfield
House.
House.
Excellent.
So, thank you very much.
Of course, you're welcome. Whatever I can do.
Excellent. Thank you.
Awesome. Mayor,
Eddie, while
Council.
you're here, do you have anything?
We just have, we're just so glad that Xterra is here right now, having Samantha go around to Grindstone and to Wingfield Park, and then meeting with Parks and Rec. And we're gonna, later on today, we're gonna go around to Midtown and actually walk the streets and show some of the different businesses and introduce some people.
Yeah, nice.
So it's just really exciting with Xterra coming in. It's a big opportunity for the village. We're happy to have her here.
So where's home at, Samantha?
I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota. All right. Well, we're glad to have you here. We're looking forward to it. And Eddie's worked hard on getting this here. And everybody that's come down with Xterra has been top notch.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
so we're looking forward to it, and Eddie's real good about laying the groundwork, and then the council's very supportive of this. We want to make it a big event for Ruidoso and Lincoln County, because eventually you have a lot of television and stuff involved in this. How many years are we talking about trying to get this to go?
Well, as of right now, we're looking for about a 5-year term that could lead to as long as we choose to have it.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks a
thank you
lot,
very
Steph.
much. Enjoy the town while you're here. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So a lot of things positive are still coming on, and we've been doing a lot of marketing through Team Tourism on all of our areas. We were fortunate enough to get an additional $125,000 from the state tourism, from New Mexico True, to go with the money that we've already spent to get people to start coming back into the community. And while we're here, I want to recognize the ladies from our very own Red Cross. Would you guys come up and introduce yourself? Sharon. And I want you to, and it's Karina, right?
Yes.
Karina, would you introduce everyone? But these ladies with, everybody has seen what's going on now in the hurricane with Helene, and now then what's coming, and you hear all the stories about, the delays on the feds and everybody getting there, and it's incumbent so much on Red Cross and, the other groups that come in to help the communities. And Red Cross did come in, they were here immediately. I know there's some bad press on, and I don't really understand that so much, and if you want to try to tell us what that's about, I'll be happy to. But these are our local folks here, so go ahead and tell us about what you guys got going.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having us today. My name is Karina Gonzalez. I'm the Community Disaster Program Manager for Southern New Mexico. I'm based out of Las Cruces, and so me, including my volunteers out of the Las Cruces area, we were the first to respond when the fires came out. And while we were doing work, we were able to gather new volunteers here from the area, which is Shireen O'Gara and Tootie. And
Tootie,
so,
that was it.
yes.
I was trying to remember the card, but evidently it's your writing or mine. I couldn't tell you, but Tootie.
Yes, and so we are building capacity in the area. We have other volunteers. It is one of our big things right now that we want to make sure our response time is a lot quicker than 2 hours, because we are 2 hours away, but having the local volunteers here, our response time will be a lot quicker. We do have a shelter trailer that is still stationed here, and that will continue to be here. It's at the community center. And so we're just here to support as much as we can and be able to support in all the recovery that we're doing.
Well, we appreciate it, and we know when the National Guard or Homeland Security, I'm not sure which one it was, brought all the sleeping arrangements and feeding, you guys were there to feed everybody, to help out and to get started, and so we appreciate that. So now then, we have folks that are trained in our community.
Yes.
So when and if we have another one, but then also of our surrounding communities, you can be there to help them a lot quicker too.
Yes, absolutely. So everything that is within southern New Mexico is what we cover. Our region is Arizona and New Mexico. So when our response became larger than what the local could support, then that's when our national came in and we supported even more.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
Well,
absolutely.
Tootie, introduce yourself.
I've been known as Texas Tootie.
Texas Tootie, not Rudy Tootie. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. One of the things that I'd like to say is that the Red Cross, I didn't realize that I could be of help. And I'll be 83 on Thanksgiving, and they made a place for me according to my skills and time and everything. So I encourage everybody to volunteer. We're recruiting, and we'll have a monthly meeting to keep our motivation, to keep everybody involved and meeting new friends. But when it comes time to work, Red Cross goes to work.
Yes. Well, thank you. Sharon, you want to tell us about yourself?
Sure, I'm Shireen O'Gara.
Shireen.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for having us here. When I came and volunteered to the Red Cross, I had no idea that Ruidoso or Lincoln County had no Red Cross presence. So that was one of the first things, and one of the things that Red Cross helped us to work on. We now have about 14 people who have volunteered and been trained to set up a shelter, so we will be ready. Another goal of ours is to be part of the community. So we are going to the health fair this weekend at the Inn of the Mountain Gods. You will see us at farmers markets. We've been there. We're going to Mescalero Schools, Career Day. We want to be part of the Red Cross. We don't want ever again to be in the situation where we don't have a local base and people don't think we have any Red Cross. We want everybody to know we're here to stay.
Okay. Well, thank you, ladies, for your dedication. You're willing to serve our community. Thank you so much. It's a big help. So
Yes, thank you.
we're here for you, so don't be strangers, you local guys, and of course you too. But anything we can do, to stay in touch, we want to make sure we understand your program so it's easier to, what do they call them, VOABs, volunteer, or what is it?
Yes, the VOADs. We're part of that as
VOAD.
well. So I work really close with Eric and Brian. That's the relationship that I hold.
Eric is our emergency manager, and Brian is the county, Sampson.
Yes, so I do have a close relationship with them. Our executive director for New Mexico is Kathy Segura Salas. So I'll make sure you have her information.
Okay.
Usually she's the one that deals with our elected officials and the councils, so I'll make sure you have her information as well.
Yeah, I think you sent me an email on that. I did
Yes.
read it, yes. thank
Yes,
you.
and then Meredith Walcher, she's our regional disaster officer.
Okay.
So we do have those there, and we're here to help as much as we can. We'll continue to support. Right now, a lot of our efforts is with the hurricane. So, we're deploying out a lot of our members from the region out. But that's where we stand right now. And the Red Cross, it's a national effort. And so we support every single community, aside from, preparing for sheltering and feeding and mass care. We also do preparedness, which is where we go and teach how to be Red Cross ready. We do teach for the younger kids in the schools, where we talk to them about, what to do when they're in distress, when there's a house fire. And so we also attend to house fires. Those are a little bit more local. And so if there's a house fire, the fire department, it's educating the fire department and letting them know that we do immediate financial assistance when they qualify. So there's a lot of resources. And if we need to do a specific presentation, please let us know. We're willing to do that as well.
Okay, thank you very much. I know during the
Thank you.
McBride fire, you brought cots and
Yes.
a bunch of other things that we had over at the convention center. So anyway, well, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you for giving us your
Appreciate it.
time.
We applaud you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My uncle served until he was 94. So, yeah, 94. So you got some time to go. Okay, we're going to move back to public input. I believe that was what was next on the agenda. Yes, it is. So we'll move to public input. Mayor Pro Tem, would you like to give a few basics?
Sure. This time is open for the public to have comment to the council. It's not a question and answer, so we wouldn't be able to carry dialogue on your concerns. I am the official timekeeper, so I'll give 2-minute warning. This is for residents of the Village of Ruidoso, or if you have a business within the Village of Ruidoso, and you could speak to anything. We ask you to be civil in addressing your comments. Don't attack the mayor or the manager or any staff, or you'll be asked to leave the room. So I think that's the tip of it.
Okay, everybody ready? First up, Daniel Beach. Well, I guess you joined, Dan. That's the only thing. Y'all take Mohawks, in your ranks?
Good afternoon. Thank
Good
you
afternoon.
for your time. I don't know how to follow these two lovely presentations. My name is Daniel Beach. I reside at 314 Heath Drive. I have an open conversation with the city manager and code enforcement regarding what I'm about to say. But once I was informed that the meeting was today, I knew I'd kick myself for not attending. On Heath Drive to the south of the truck center, this, whatever their official name is, I have asked, some of the neighbors have asked if someone can keep an eye on the volume of the music being played from this establishment. it seems that nobody, first and foremost, nobody's gonna have an issue with concerts, right? We're all, I love live music. I quietly want to tell you that I like 90% of the music they're jamming over there. We like our music loud. We're 300, in my house, we're 300 yards away from their stereo system, which I believe is a customized small semi-truck trailer. That's a pretty gnarly stereo system. We can hear their bass inside our house with the windows closed and the doors shut, 300 yards. There's a few other people that are living closer to them. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if there is one. Off the top of my head, I wonder if there's a world that we can have a volume set for everyday music, and then certainly a higher allowance for live concerts, live venues, raffles, whatever it is that they do. And if anyone ever had the time to venture to the south end of that establishment on the walk trail on the 16th hole of the Links Golf Course, when they're fully operational, you would have a better understanding of what the residents on that end of the neighborhood have been dealing with since we've come back from the evacuation. That's it. I won't tell you about some acts of hoodlumism that have been going on there the last couple of weeks. One of our neighbors had their bicycle stolen from their backyard. I've had some things taken from my front yard and moved to an adjoining property kind of thing. Kids, so we're attracting the whatever it is, that's life. We can't do anything about that. But certainly with the volume and the bass, I don't know if anything can be done. It seems as though when they turn on for the day, they hit the button, stereo goes on, and it just jams until if they have a live venue or not, a live concert or not. And so looking forward into 2025, will this become a 5-day-a-week routine? Is it gonna become a 7-day-a-week routine? I don't know, that's above my pay grade. But I just wanted to, once again, you folks have always been very receptive, Mr. Sen. I'm not bypassing anything, but again, I was just notified that the meeting was today, and I wanted to come in and sit with everyone. So, again, thank you for listening, thank you for always being receptive, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Daniel, I appreciate
Thank you all for
that.
rebuilding this community.
Thank you, appreciate you.
Good day, y'all.
Bill Carnes? I'm sorry.
Bill Carnes.
He writes like I do. Good to see you, Bill. I said, good to see you. Former village councilman, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Glad to have you here.
Well, first I want to thank you all because a lot of people don't realize that you've handled the worst tragedy in the history of this village since its inception in 1945 that we've ever had. We've never had a tragedy like this, and you all have done an excellent job, so have the village employees. And I don't think a lot of people out there realize just how devastating it was, especially losing the racetrack. And anyway, I'll be brief as I can. I believe it was 1978, 79, there was a triplex being built over on Roswell Street. And at the time, I came up to the village, and Jim Hines showed me the zoning map that had Roswell Street zoned as R2. And so I went along and said, okay, that's okay. And then I had occasion to turn in an amended building permit myself because of the zoning of R2. Then I came back up, Mr. Hines took the building permit, said he'd handle it. And then I went over to John Cupp at Planning and Zoning, and the zoning map had been removed from the wall. And I asked John, he said, well, Mr. Hines had it removed. I said, oh. Now at that time, informally, we were talking about a river walk in the Ruidoso Springs subdivision, and it was just informally. And the village attorney at that time, we asked if when the river was rechanneled so that the landlocked lots on Fern Trail would have access to ingress and egress, ask him if the easement had transferred to the river from when it was rechanneled. And he just smiled and said, well, I think a judge is going to be the one to tell you about that. Well, then George White was elected mayor, and the council was called in 2 at a time to Mr. Hines' office at that time. And he said, his words, some damn attorney had done his homework, and that the village was going to have to readopt, I believe it was the 1976 master plan and map at that time. So that was done, and at the council meeting, I specifically asked Mr. Hines, I said, is everything in the village of Ruidoso, because I wanted the people on Fern Trail to be able to have access. And I didn't own property down there then, I do now, going to be protected. And is everything in Ruidoso grandfathered in as it is where it is right now? And Mr. Hines said yes. And so I went, okay, that's fine. Now, at that time, a little while later, it was brought up for a Riverwalk to study the feasibility of a Riverwalk along the area where maybe the easement did move from Fern Trail over to the river where it now is. And it's been that way for about 70 years now. It died for lack of a second. Oh, okay. I'll be brief. Anyway, now comes FEMA, and I really feel sorry for you because you're between a rock and a hard place with FEMA when you need the millions of dollars from FEMA, and they're coming with the floodway and the problems dealing with that floodway. If some people can rebuild, some people can't rebuild. And then I think on their page, 500 pages, and thank God you've got some people who know it better than I do, but one of them is permit on Chapter 7, page 20, and then taking without payment, inverse condemnation, development, some people can. And I've talked with some of the people down there, and they're perfectly happy without any kind of legal problem with a bicycle path or walkway going across theirs. And you can also have, under their rules, I looked up, and if, like I say, this is all over my head, but they've got ways where you can build a river walk in the floodplain, and the floodway if it doesn't increase the flood level. And like, I know that you're going to have that coming down in the thing, but part of the problem is under FEMA's rules too, is they reverse inverse condemnation is part of the plan. They say you can't build on your lot, and the person says, well, fine, I'm going to keep my lot. I'll leave it vacant. And part of the problem is I couldn't find anywhere where it tells the people, are they going to get full value for the house that was there or the lot when it's being purchased? Are they getting paid the taxable value for the lot, or just exactly what are they going to get? Because the taxable value is like 1/3 of what, the appraised value would be. And that's just one of the things, and I know the ordinance is coming up, and I think a lot of the people on Fern Trail just would like, because they've heard of green space from Eagle all the way up to Meacham. And just like to maybe sit down with whoever and talk about what the green space is going to be and what the river trail might be.
When's the meeting on the floodplain? Is that next week, the 12th?
Mayor and council for the ordinance.
Yeah, well, we were talking about floodplain and the hearing, the public hearing and all that.
That's going to be at the next November 12th.
Oh, November, okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm just want to make sure I got your phone number. Is it 7009 or 2009?
7009.
Okay, all right. We'll be in touch. We'll get with Zach, and then the ladies over here, they're all over that. But we're concerned.
Oh, and one other of everybody's concerns is for the racetrack and maybe the grandfathering of the river channel being moved. I haven't been able to look at it, but if the racetrack needed the river to be rechanneled around that track, because they had showed the whole racetrack area in the floodplain, and we need the racetrack. It's vital to the economy of Ruidoso.
Thank you for your
Thanks,
input.
Bill. Appreciate it.
Next, 629 Main, Randall Hamilton. How are you doing? Been a while. I don't recognize you without your cowboy hat.
Well, I left it back there.
Did you? Okay. Good afternoon.
Well, y'all have got a lot of folks to listen to. I just want to talk about the second bridge on Main Road. We have we reside at 629 there on Main, or 100 Fox, depending on which utility company you contact, because we're right there at the intersection. We had a really good job, and I wanted to say thank you to and recognize Adam Sanchez and Joseph with the street department. They've always been real responsive to anything that we needed there. We've got guardrails for the first time, true guardrails since 2008. We had concrete barriers that every time they were hit hard, they would go over in the river and we'd have to replace those. And we've already had one wreck without the guardrails, 2 o'clock in the morning, and kudos to the emergency services. They were there within 10 minutes of that car going over upside down and nobody was hurt. But again, that's a very hazardous turn. The council has already approved the redesign of the bridge there. And that brings me to my next point of, I'd really like to have public input on, there's a lot of bridges now that's gonna have to be replaced. But y'all have already passed getting this one replaced at the second bridge, because we've had a temporary bridge since 2008. And we'd like to see that be made a priority, but that's just me because I live there. Y'all are the ones that have to juggle all the priorities. But we just need to go ahead and get that done as soon as possible with as much public input during the design process as possible. When they were designing a replacement for Bridge Number 2, everybody that was out there surveying, everybody that was out there with the village, I spoke to everyone about softening that curve so that we'd have less accidents. And everybody would always say, well, you know, that's not what I do. And I said, yes, but you make recommendations. And the bridge design came in exactly opposite that, turning it into a three-way stop, doing a 90-degree on the bridge. Well, once the engineer saw it face to face, he said, no, this isn't going to work. And so it's already been, had to go back out for bids, waiting on the money to pay for the design. We've been waiting for a year now, and would like to, when the money comes in for the bridges, we'd like to see that getting done. But as the other bridges, as Fern Trail and the others have needs, let's get public input during the process rather than spending all the money on the design, get the engineer the right information to make his decision. Thank you all very much.
You betcha.
Thank you.
Chelsea Jarvis?
Sorry, I write the hybrid of cursive and print.
Yeah, well, I was calling you the wrong name then, wasn't I?
It's okay.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you guys for all of the work. Like they said before, you guys have done so much to help the village. I think you guys get a lot of the brunt of the anger and the frustration from the people, but I know it takes just so much to juggle everything that you guys are doing, so thank you so much. I am a local resident and business owner. We own the Ruidoso Village RV Park at 664 Sutterth. If you're not familiar with it, it is right between across from the Two Rivers Park between La Salsa and the Chamber. Have we have a 16, 12, and 5-year-old, and we moved here with dreams of putting together a beautiful resort. It was rough when we got it, and we put every dollar that we had into that property, and it thrived. And we became one of the top 5 rated places on Google, and we were doing great. We got both of our cabins up and running, and then the fire happened, and we were evacuated, of course, so we haven't had anybody in since June. And everybody started canceling, and then we got home and we thought, you know what, we were spared, we've got this, we're gonna pick up, this is busy season, you know, we're good at working hard, that's what we do, we don't have 401 plan, you know. The RV park is how we do everything, it's how we're gonna put all 3 of our kids through college. So we said, we're not scared of hard work, we got this, and then the floods came. And the first flood came and it was 3 inches, and I had to make a really difficult call, which was, do we give up income for our busiest season, or do we err on the safe side? Because I understand the severity and, well, I didn't, now I do, in the power of water. And I was afraid. I wasn't gonna put people in harm's way because I wanted their money. So we closed it. And thank God we did, because Flood 2 and Flood 3 came in, and I think we were one of the hardest hit properties in the area that was still semi-standing. So we poked and we prodded, you know, we're hard workers, we're gonna get through this. You know, we were told you may not be able to rebuild, but we're gonna make that work. And then we got a call and said that
well, you can't rebuild your house is a total loss, so we'll help you demolish it, which we were so grateful for. We got $91,000 from FEMA for our house. I mean, what do you do with that? But thankfully, we're not in North Carolina, we got something. So I am thankful for that, but we were told we can rebuild the RV park possibly. At first, we were excited, well, hey, we're still making that mortgage payment on a property that we can't run, now 4 months. So we were like, okay, well, we'll still be able to get through this. Our dream can still live. So we called FEMA, and FEMA said that we're too much in a danger zone to put temporary housing for us, so that got kicked. But then we got a call from the village saying you can still rebuild your RV sites. Okay, I'll try to get through this. I have a long story. But anyway, so now we're trying to figure out how the heck we're gonna do this. How are we supposed to rebuild in a floodway? I mean, the map came out and it's our whole property. How are we gonna rebuild anything in the floodway and not live there? I mean, we're not millionaires, we're not corporate owners. The only reason it worked is because we lived there and we were able to be our own work campers and run our own business. This is what we planned, it's what we dreamt, and it was taken from us. And it's not our fault, it's not your fault, but I feel like we've tried every single avenue to get it fixed, and I honestly don't understand how we can rebuild. It's just gonna be Groundhog's Day. Next year it's gonna wash away and then we won't have anything. Because the only money we have now to rebuild it is coming from FEMA for the house that we can't rebuild. So we're living in temporary housing. And we've lost income on one of our cabins. We only had 2, only 9 sites. Everything's totaled. And it's like, how are we going to be able to move past so that I'm not afraid year after year after year? Because our dream has been shattered and I'm trying so hard to keep it positive and keep the kids happy and keep the business dream alive. But now we're working separate jobs. And it's like, I never thought I'd ask, but we really would love it if you guys would consider using it for water retention, because our park is the forefront of all of the 9 businesses that get trashed by the river right there at the bridge. It banks, the river banks right there, and it comes up, and if you utilize that property, because it's useless to us. I mean, I can't see myself putting $81,000 into it for maybe 4 months of business before we get washed away again. And then we don't have flood insurance on a house we could use. So please help us. I just would love it if you guys would consider, reconsider possibly taking our land and using it to prevent future or further businesses down the river from flooding. It's open and wide. I've heard that there's retention ponds being used in Upper Canyon. That's kind of the theory they're going with. But it's so hard to try to plan for the future when I know what's going to happen next summer. And that's not what we moved here for. We just want to be able to relocate our RV park and start our dream over again because we did everything right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And is it Daryl? Yes, sir. Okay, I just want to make sure I had the names wrong. Thank you, guys.
Sorry, that's my wife, Chelsea.
Yep, okay.
I just want to pick up where she kind of left off. Like she's saying, everybody's familiar with our property, and honestly, with the money that we're receiving and the help that we're receiving, we're grateful for, but at the same time, we honestly know what the outcome is going to be for the future. And the way we can see it helping everybody else is kind of sacrificing our property, if everybody's willing to, just to save the village. Because I mean, if somebody with the money can come in and put a nice retention wall, because where the river comes from the park, we have a 90-degree turn that needs to be addressed from the river. I mean, and if somebody came in with the right means of money, they can make that a nice usable parking lot, retention pond, or something. But Chelsea and I, we don't have the funds or the means to do it, especially now with everything that we have gone to a natural disaster. And honestly, we want y'all, we would love for maybe some consideration of condemning it and helping us out and giving us help with the village, because I mean, it's directly in the middle of the village. I mean, it's an eyesore, and it's gonna be an eyesore, and it's gonna keep happening, and honestly, it kind of falls on the Highway 70 as well. There's no drainage there to protect our property. I mean, we just need help, honestly, truthfully, and that's it. Thank you for your
All
time.
right, thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Andrea Fernandez.
She left.
She left?
Yep.
Going once, twice, okay, thank you. All right, thank you. And we appreciate you guys coming in, and there's so many different avenues that we're working on and that directly y'all are in. Those things, whether we're talking about condemnation or whatever, where do we get the money? How do we do the appraisal? Because we all feel like it should be on appraised price before the event. And so a lot of those things we're working with the waterways folks, which is the Army Corps, NRCS on riverbank, stabilization, all of those. And so while we're making some progress, it's very slow, as y'all know. So anyway, thank you for coming in, all of you today.
Yes, thank you.
So now we'll move on to the village manager's report. Yes, sir, Mr. Sena.
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, first up is going to be Mr. Alex. He's our community development director. We call him Alex K. And he's going to provide an update on proposed development along Carrizo Canyon Road.
Okay, what we've had is a number of calls, because that is in the county. It's Carrizo Canyon and Grindstone right there, and we've been piling a lot of dirt, debris up there for sorting, because that's village property, to be able then to take to the final resting place. So we received a bunch of calls, and so we asked Alex to tell us your title again there, Alex.
Sure. Alex Koenig, Community Development Director.
There you
go. Mayor, members of the council, village manager. So this property is at Grindstone Canyon and Carrizo Canyon. It's approximately 36 acres. It is, as mentioned, outside of the village limits, and so it does limit what our responsibility and actions can be with however, it is within the area that's governed by the memorandum of understanding, the MOU, in regard to permitting and inspection. So when that comes along, we will be taking care of that. Because it is in the county, the grading permit is not required. They do not require a grading permit, but so there's nothing with that. As well as, again, our village regulations, our zoning regulations would not apply because it is not within our municipal boundaries. But would also, as part of this, Carrizo Canyon and Grindstone Canyon, both of those are village roads. They are part of the village, maintained by the village. We have been, the department, as well as other folks here in the city, or the village, excuse me, have been monitoring this for the past couple weeks, about 2.5 weeks since the September 20th. The building official, Mr. Myers, David Myers, has been talking with Ray Edson, which is a name that might sound familiar to many folks about this project. He is the potential developer of this project. The contractor he has engaged on this is Jim Benson, another person that is also well-known around here. Mr. Edson has said that this development is intended to be an amusement center, a fun park with a roller coaster and other complementary type of amenities. He is contracting with a designer as well as a structural engineer that has a New Mexico license to do the design work for this project. The plans will be presented for review and permitting, again, under the MOU that we have. We are going to request a traffic impact analysis going back to the two streets, the two roads that are intersecting through this property. We are going to request that a traffic impact analysis be with an appropriate scope to address the potential traffic impacts of this development. That would be reviewed by our village staff as well as our consulting engineers to be sure that it will not snarl traffic due to that development there. And if you have any questions at this point in time, I'll be happy to answer as I'm able.
I have one.
Go ahead, ma'am.
The other day, I was coming down Grindstone to turn onto Carrizo, and they were working, and they had a front loader, and it was putting all of the stuff into the river. There's a river right there that, is that, I mean, how can we?
Ashley and,
Oh, Ashley,
and
thank you.
Honeycutt were on that. Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So I have a meeting with Justin, the regulatory agency, Army Corps. We are planning on going out on Friday to review the property in question and make sure that everything's up to code. And if it's not, then Justin will take it from there, as it
Okay.
is a waterway.
Okay, it just looked, it kind of made my heart stop there.
Yes, Justin actually received several complaints, and he gave me a call.
Thank you, ladies.
I was not aware of it at that time. And this is when we were at the water law conference, so we scheduled a time to meet up, and
Okay.
we'll go out there.
Who's Justin?
He's with the Army Corps of Engineers. He's the regulatory agency for the Clean
Okay, I
Water
haven't
Act.
met him. They got a bunch of other ones.
He's out of Las Cruces, Mayor.
Okay. And so
Ashley,
like
thank
the netting and all that stuff that we have to have around here, we didn't see any of that over there.
Correct, and so whenever I pull permits, I go through Justin for the Army Corps and through Davina with the Surface Water Quality Bureau, and they give me the regulations, best management practices, when we can develop, when we cannot development. They want to see design sets, so he received complaints, and that's how he was notified about
Okay.
it.
Well, I appreciate it, thank you.
And Mayor Crawford, Councilor Letterman, Adam Sanchez, and myself, we did contact the road superintendent, Jeff Honeycutt, and let him know that was going on also.
Okay.
Anyone else?
One quick question there. I did talk with Ray Edson, and he kind of went over his plans there about the coaster and such. So I just was wondering with the traffic study there, if it was considered a high congestion point because of that particular business being in there, then would a traffic light be considered?
So I will give sort of the background of what a TIA would include, how I would envision that coming about. We would start off with the land use type, as best as we would, that they would have to provide to us. We would know the plans, and so that would be the start, and then use what's called the Institute of Traffic Engineers Traffic Trip Generation Manual, whatever version they are on. And really what that does is it gives a idea of the number of vehicles that would be coming and going from a property. And then typically what happens with that is next, you look at peak hours, AM and PM, with that, and then the level of service that the roads currently are, and then what the anticipated additional traffic would do to that. And then you talk about whether there would be any additional traffic control signals that would be required, deceleration lane, turn lanes, those sorts of things.
Anyone else? So that property there is on the basically northwest side there of Carrizo Canyon. And that's the developed area up that, I don't know, what do you call that, little draw through there? So is there anything on the south side of the road?
To my knowledge at this point, no.
Okay, so it's just how many acres is that over there?
The entire property is about 36 acres that they have taken down. It's approximately 1 acre that they have currently done the grading work, the site work on.
What's the nearest resident?
I don't know how close the nearest resident would be, but that is a highly residential area in there, yeah.
And so how close is the village limits to that?
Offhand, I don't have an exact number as to how close it might be.
Well, just
but
right
yeah.
up the road there is village property.
Yeah,
Where Grindstone, the dam, the disc golf course is.
yeah.
And then there's that other area that an individual owns, right there. So none of that property is included in this that you know of?
No.
Okay. There's no other plans for high-end condos and,
At this point, we have not heard anything beyond that.
okay. When is the traffic study going to start? Do you know?
Do not know at this point when they will anticipate getting that done, but we will certainly be sure to press them to know that that is going to be a requirement, because if they cannot, they'll be required to do that to access the village.
When he said roller coaster, was it going to be similar to the mountain coaster that we have out at Winter?
I don't know the specific details, as to whether it would be similar to that or something different.
Well, I understand the people's concerns that live over there. I mean, we're a very business-friendly community. We make our living off of GRT, which is through business, and that's in the county, so
Yeah.
we won't be getting any of that. But as a next-door neighbor, I think that these people should have some input into that.
I don't disagree with that. Where we may have an option to pursue with that, another development issue is utilities, water, sewer. They may be very limited in their ability to dig a well to get enough water to supply that, as well as using septic system for that. And I've learned today that we do not extend our utilities, the village utilities, outside the village limits. So at that point, they may be talking about some kind of voluntary annexation agreement that would also
Well, it just all happens
change the environment there.
As she says, it just was there, wasn't there, and then it was there.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you getting in on that. We'll just keep a close eye on it. And we'd love to have the business, and we just want it to be neighborhood friendly as possible. I know we had the property across the street that's in a PUD, where's my, what, PUD something?
Yeah, it's PUD, that's the property to the general to the northwest, right?
Right,
Yeah.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
And this is just county.
It's just county, so there is no zoning in there, and even from the perspective of trying to figure out what an appropriate land use would be, I would be very hesitant to say commercial is the best spot for that is not a great spot for additional commercial development.
Well, and we have a lot of congestion during the summer there because Carrizo Canyon to Sudderth is a right turn only, but we've had a lot of wrecks there because people turning left. So we need to look at additional signage. The fun trackers that's right there is already busy. That Mr. Edson started that. He was the originator of that. And then when we have a lot of traffic at the end of the Mountain God. So I know those are things we're being taken into consideration. I don't know, I just found it surprising that it was right there.
Yeah.
So,
Mayor,
yes, ma'am.
I don't understand if, if they're looking at utilities and they think, the village, we can't provide that unless we do.
Annex them.
Why would, it seems like to me this is after the fact. Why wouldn't they figure that out? So that they're going by our rules. I don't understand that.
Well, part of that is in our ordinance. If you're in the county and there is municipal resources, sewer, water, they can't connect and they pay a double fee
Yeah.
than what we pay.
No?
No, after 1988, or 1998, that ordinance was changed. So unless there was a prior agreement between the village and whoever was in the county, they cannot connect, is what it says.
Unless we approve it.
Unless you approve it, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's how we did,
The
Fawn Ridge.
Fawn Ridge, and then the agreement we have with the Mountain Gods on the sewer.
Yep.
Okay.
Councilor Alderman, to your point, they just recently turned in the utility service application. So like you said, it was kind of an after the fact kind of thing. So I think they're just now finding out. He's actually texted me before you guys did this item, so.
So they would still have to be put, the sewer would not connect.
The sewer or water would not connect unless they were.
Council approves, and we'd have some input on that too. So,
Okay.
but we'd just like to see the overall business plan, if you're talking to Mr. Edson, on what it's going to look like so that we can, just like we do with everything, we have public input the neighbors you started getting a lot of phone calls. I drove by the thing and said, wow, what's going on? And, and made some phone calls, and we weren't aware at that time until we started checking into it. So anyway, thank you for the update, Alex.
Thank you.
So how long have you been here now?
2.5 months.
Yeah, yeah. So he accepted the job after the fire, so we commend, that's a lot of brave things there for you, so we appreciate the work, and hopefully you've got acclimated. I think you have. So we appreciate all the work you're doing, and we'll keep watching this one closely.
Thank you very much. We shall do.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you,
it.
Alex. Mayor, before we go to the next presenter, we do have a new employee there. He's our intern, so we just want him. So he helps a lot, so
Who we
that's
talking about?
Andrew.
He's a new employee.
Well, he's an intern.
He's an intern.
Oh, well.
So Mayor, Council, our next presenter is from Cobb Finley.
So this is on a lot of the discussion that we were having earlier on the
H&H, the
Hydraulic
hydrologic
and,
and hydraulic modeling of impacted watersheds. So-
hydrologic.
Thank you.
Hydrologic.
Yes.
And hydraulic.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
And Cobb Finley is one of our new consultants, engineering firms, and they do excellent work. We're so glad to have them as part of our partnership with the village. So thank you for being here.
What was your name again, sir?
My name is Brad Sumrall. I'm a principal with Cobb Finley. I'm
Okay.
actually located in Albuquerque. Again, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council, for having us today. Staff, we're working diligently to help have answers so that you all can help the populace make good decisions with regard to how to continue to rebuild. So we were recently brought on board to do some hydrologic and hydraulic analysis, obviously with relation to the fire. I also provided these digitally. Is that something you want to show on the screen, or?
Can you do that, Andrew, so people can kind of get an idea? I have it right here in front of me, and I'm somewhat familiar, but a little explanation will have to go.
Great. This first exhibit I see isn't included in the list above, but I'll run through it quickly. These are just representations of the burned areas that are within some of the analyses that we're conducting presently. We've been working very closely with Ashley to make sure we're addressing the critical primary areas where you all need answers first. So if you flip to the next page, you'll see we've begun hydrologic modeling of the upper Rio Ruidoso watershed. So that would be upper, so do that very last one, yes. So this is a representation of the watershed, and you'll note the file name said HEC HMS. So we use HEC HMS, which is a publicly available analysis tool that was developed by the Corps of Engineers. It stands for Hydrologic Engineering Center, which is based in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And then HMS is their hydrologic modeling system. It's a GIS-based program that allows you to process extremely large quantities of information and then ultimately gives you your peak flow rates in terms of how much water is being generated depending on the type of storm that you run into the system to give you predictive information. So we've taken topographic information that's available in the public domain. We've processed it to create what are termed subbasins, which is what this represents. The SB stands for subbasin. And so this represents about 2 days of just computer processing of digital information to generate the watershed and representation of, when the rain falls, how does the water flow? So at this point, we are now calibrating the model. We've actually got the model to run. We plugged in a representative storm. We've done nothing yet to address conditions within the watershed, which is what the next figure represents. That would be the bear model.
Before we go on, for
Yes,
us people that have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, I'm happy to
The
explain.
world's full of it out there, but that slide, before you change, Andrew, okay, give us an idea of what are we looking at? I mean, we just see green and the blue, we know that's the river, but
Oh, okay, I
So,
apologize. So,
kinda,
yeah, at this point.
Last one, Andrew.
So the black lines represent
There you go.
the subbasins within the watershed. So this is all of the upper Rio Ruidoso watershed. I believe it's,
And the blue line is the Ruidoso?
yes, sir. Yes, I appreciate you asking for that clarification. I look at this every day, so
so the green is like where the water's coming from. Anything in that green is gonna, as water flows, it's gonna go then to the blue, which is then the Rio Ruidoso, and come down.
yes, sir. And you'll notice there's a fine black line within each
Yes.
heavier black boundary. That's effectively the primary flow path within that subbasin. So if you're chasing trout like I like to do, you start out on the Rio Ruidoso and you see a little finger of a stream heading uphill. You follow that. You don't get very big fish, but sometimes they're up there.
So where is Ruidoso proper on here?
I believe it's down near what's called Junction 4, Junction 5, which is on the far right. So this is effectively everything that's coming from the headwaters. So to the far left would be Sierra Blanca.
Sierra
Yeah,
Blanca.
that's going all the way up.
Yes,
right.
sir.
And then
Okay.
the red dot, the first red dot,
So the first red dot just represents what we call a junction, and these
Okay.
are just elements of what the model produces. So we can put junctions in at any point within the model. This is just what it's produced first run through on its own. So we can tell you specifically, if you get a 2-inch, 3-inch, 4-inch rainfall event, we can point at these spots and tell you, hey, you're going to get this much flow, based on whatever type of predictive event you would like to use. At this point, we're starting with the 500-year event, which is about 5.5 inches of rain in a 24-hour period. Ultimately, we'll back that off to the 100-year event, and this is all lined up with requirements and expectations that FEMA wants to see. But we thought we'd start with the worst case because based on discussions with Ashley and others, we've learned that what is occurring within the village is what is currently represented of the 500-year floodplain based on current FEMA mapping, which we know now is no longer valid because the whole watershed has changed because of the impact of the fire. Thank you for stopping me.
Thank you for
Please feel free to do that anytime.
sir.
So the next page just represents, and this would be that's the Cherokee bill. There's a similar version of that yes, that was it. Back up one. So what we've done is taken the burned area emergency response team map. Ashley provided these to us in a digital form. And so this represents the intensity of the fire and how badly the soils were impacted within the mosaic of the fire. So what we will use this for then is to assign what's known as a runoff coefficient or a curve number. And these are all based on Natural Resource Conservation Service manuals that have been published. They've been around for 50 or 60 years. So just in general terms, curve numbers go from 0 to 100. 0 is, if you had a sponge, if rain fell and none of it ran off, that would be a curve number of 0. You never see that. 100 would be the opposite extreme where you had glass, nothing gets absorbed, everything runs off. So in general, forested watersheds carry curve numbers in the 60s to 70s in New Mexico. What we're seeing now, based on the intensity of the burn, is some of these curve numbers are going to get up into potentially the lower 90s, where you'll get a nominal amount of infiltration when it rains, but the tree canopy's gone, the grass canopy's gone. I've seen fire impacts over in the Jemez near where I live, where the Los Conchas fire back in, I think, 12, the fire was so intense, it literally altered the soil and effectively turned it into pottery. It was just impermeable. It looked like the moon. I was up there hiking within the year after the fire. And so I suspect some of these areas that are represented in red probably have those same sorts of characteristics. So what we'll do is look at the intensity of the burn within each one of these subbasins that are the finer gray lines that we looked at before, and assign a value and start calibrating the model more to the conditions that we expect to see on the ground. We ran our model yesterday just to make sure it would work and give us an answer. Again, no calibration whatsoever. It was just push the button and see if it spit something out. And we got a flow of like 40,000 CFS, which that's effectively the flood flow in the Rio Grande, which we don't expect to see that in the Rio Ruidoso. So we've got some work to do with respect to doing that calibration. And my expectation is we'll probably see something in maybe the 20 to 25,000 CFS value once we get the model aligned with the conditions we're seeing and understanding exist. The next two figures.
CFS is cubic feet.
Cubic feet per second,
Per
yes, sir.
second of water flowing past a certain point.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So when you're talking about all the areas in red, that's all basically, you said hydrophobic. So water's not gonna absorb. So I don't know if later in the presentation you address it, but with the absorption into the watershed, into the water columns, is this a volcanic or is this more granite formation?
I have not yet studied the geology maps and the soils map specifically, but that is part of this calibration process. So we look at the NRCS soil series maps that give us characteristics in the upper 2 meters. So that'll help us better understand what's the appropriate curve number to assign. And so a curve number is a blend of both soil characteristics and the vegetation. So in this case, we're probably seeing more influence because the tree canopy's gone. But for example, in these areas that are red, we would certainly see some thermal altering of those soil surfaces. So that's all what we're working on now to get a better representation.
Okay, thank you.
The next two maps are similar representations. This is the Cherokee Bill watershed. And we've understood, again, working closely with Ashley, that, the upper Rio Ruidoso and Cherokee Bill are.
Cherokee Bill's off 70.
Yes.
So this is on the tribal lands?
Yes, sir, but we understand that because of the impacts of the salt fire, you're seeing impacts on 70, and I've seen some of the extent of the flooding on 70 after the fact. I wasn't there when it happened, fortunately, but I know some of the businesses there were drastically impacted. The highway was impacted, so obviously we want to facilitate understanding of ingress and egress and keeping the public safe. So same with regard to what's represented here. This one shows the watershed boundaries and the primary flow paths. And then the next one is a overlay of the Bear map. So we can see in this case, the fire was potentially less intense, given the intensity of what's showing for soils being impacted. So we will see elevated flow coming out of this watershed, but certainly not to the degree of what we're seeing in the upper Rio Ruidoso. That's all I have for specifics at this point. In terms of schedule, our goal is to have a working model that represents more of existing present case conditions on the upper Rio Ruidoso in the next couple of weeks. And then as soon as we have that one within the realm of having things correlated to conditions that we were familiar with, then we'll jump right over to Cherokee Bill and just keep going. We have other watersheds that Ashley has us lined up to model, but we understand these two are the ones that are, you're seeing the biggest impact from with respect to dealing with day-to-day disasters and conditions when it rains, like it looks like it might today, so. If you have any
So,
questions.
Ashley, with the information that he's gathering on this, when we're talking about watershed and waterways and how that ties into our planning and zoning, where we're issuing building permits, rebuild, so you take some of this information that he's got there, and then if you have some sort of an algorithm or formula, how does that work?
So what we're doing with their modeling is seeing once they model the 100-year storm as well, we'll compare the results to what we've been seeing out in the field. We'll also compare it with the J.E. Fuller's option, and then we're going to bring this to you guys and see what direction you would want to move based off the modeling and what it's showing. Because I've been out in the field. Brad has actually been out in the field as well, looking at this data while they're creating the model to make corrections. And so we're going to present to you guys the best information that we have available to help protect these citizens when they go in and to rebuild.
And so this would determine like our culvert sizes, and this is going to go into the bridge studies that we've said, you know, what type of bridges that we definitely want and what bridges we definitely don't want. And so the culvert sizing and all that, which will tie into our overall plan with FEMA restoration.
Second step I neglected to mention, Mr. Mayor, is, so this present step, the HMS modeling basically tells us how much water is coming at us. And then the next step is we shift gears and use a different Corps of Engineers model called the Riverine Assessment System, or Riverine Analysis System, HEC-RAS. So the way I explain it is HEC-HMS tells you how much water, and HEC-RAS tells you how deep, and the impacts that it would have on existing infrastructure. So it's a two-step process, and we're coupling that with some additional field survey data that we're getting started on soon, where at the end of the day, we'll have a working interim floodplain map that will effectively supplant the existing FEMA floodplain maps that are clearly now no longer applicable.
Valid, right.
So we're looking down the highway to get you something then that you can use as a management and assessment tool. I know citizens want to rebuild, and then you'll have that available to you.
And so we've gone ahead because we were told it was going to take years from FEMA and Army Corps. So we've gone out. Where do we get the money for Cobb Finley? I'm not
So
grabbing. I just know.
This was part of our watershed-based plan.
Okay.
That we got through NMED. It was
Okay.
a grant that we applied for. And so we actually hired Cobb Finley before the fire even happened, and it just happened to
Be
fall
right
into
there.
place.
So the information that you're gathering and you guys are putting together will be acceptable. I've been told when we've talked to FEMA and Army Corps that they'll want to review and look at all the data so that maybe they can adopt that so we can move quicker.
Correct.
Okay, good work.
And so we're keeping that at the forefront. You know, what is it FEMA going to expect to see, and what are they going to have the easiest time reviewing? So that's kind of our bracket in terms of what we're producing for y'all.
Okay, well, we appreciate you doing that. Because I know there's a lot of people counting on us to get it done, and they keep telling us, FEMA and all these, that we're so far ahead of schedule. And when you're like this couple that was over here, or whatever, the gentleman on the bridge, it's not fast enough. But this is one way that we're trying to move that forward. So thank you, Ashley and Christella. I know you guys doing a lot of work. You have extra copies of these, don't you?
Yes, sir, I have a few.
Well, there's a couple of guys that were taking pictures. If y'all want this, just hand it to those two guys right there.
Sure.
And if I need to make more copies.
Yeah, and it was Brad or Brandon? Brad, okay. All right, just wanted to make sure, but yeah, we understand some of this, and when we get into it, it's like Councilor Hooker said, just sometimes that we need to understand the map and so we can interpret it, but
Yes, sir.
we know it's been severe, and, but, you know, we got to move forward, and I know that there's measures that we've talked about on this hydrophobic soil, on ways to regenerate it maybe quicker. And so you said you were in the Hamas, is that what you said?
Yes, sir, there was a catastrophic
That was in
fire.
2012.
I believe so, yes.
And so when's the last time you were up there?
In that particular part of the watershed, I have not been back there since because access to that area was through Coche de Pueblo, and I believe they've closed that
They did.
access. You can get there if you go to Bandelier and then kind of hike south But you can't kind of drive up to the,
I was just wondering what it was looking like now. Because, you know, in 2012, we had the Little Bear. And so we've seen how long it's taken for some of that to come back and regenerate. And then we get a lot of pictures I get from people hiking that they're showing. And in fact, Judge Potter had sent us some information, I don't know if y'all read all that, and some pictures just on how things look. You said moonscape, a lot of that. Other areas that you're starting to get some regeneration, some wildflowers, some ground cover, things of that nature. And so I guess we'll just have to see, but these are measures that we're looking at with the burned area recovery, the bear teams,
yes, sir.
and all of those things. So thank you for everything you're doing. It's a very important work that some of us never knew existed. So, but we appreciate it.
We'll be back.
And see, all this affects the water filtration that we have for our Eagle Creek watershed, which is a big one for us, and of course, the Rio Ruidoso that affects Grindstone. So thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, Mayor and Council, we have Stephanie Long.
Stephanie,
Gonna
she's got the quickest history lessons in the world. They last 15 minutes. She has them on, 15 minutes? Oh, they're not even 15.
Oh, boy.
But they're on Ruidoso Rewind on 1490 AM radio, and you can stream it, and you can actually go in there and get archives to learn about Ruidoso, like how the streets got their names.
That's right.
You're going to have some stuff in there about the watershed and a lot of the different history on the mill and all of those. How do we get all the names around town on Cree Meadows and all of that? So, yes, Miss Stephanie.
So, I'm going to be talking, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I'm just excited because we're talking about the opening of the Wingfield Heritage House Museum. We are having our opening ceremony ribbon cutting on October 17th, from noon to 6 p.m. Ribbon cutting kind of around noon, probably a little bit after. And then we're going to be hosting an open house the rest of the day to let people come through and check it out. We're going to have food and some entertainment
Drinks.
from food and drinks in the later part of the day. Some entertainment by the Hamiltons and from about 4 to 6 time frame. And of course, the museum will be open and you can check it out. And I'm excited because I've been bumbling around over there by myself, so I'll have human contact again, and get to show off what we've been working on. So
And this is next to Ace Hardware.
next to Ace Hardware, across the street from Schlotsky's and the old Wingfield house there, next to the radio station. So
So we have a lot of parking there, and if not, we're going to have a little shuttle. It's walking distance, really, from
It
the
can be.
Mashburn
Yes.
property right
a little
there.
stroll up the hill.
But we'll have a shuttle to run people
We'll
back
have
and
shuttles running from 2 to 6
forth. Okay?
from over from the Mashburn.
Everybody's welcome.
And everybody's welcome. Please come on down, check us out, and then the museum will be open after that, so.
Yeah, we've handed out and sent about 150 invitations. The chamber, we sent a disc, and she sent it out to all the chamber members. And then Stephanie has sent it out to the Midtown Association, sent one to the governor, to the lieutenant governor, to our representative. So I'm hoping for a good turnout.
Yeah, I think we will. We're all excited about it.
I'm excited.
It was a long-time dream, and the house, for the people who don't know, was the actual homestead of the Wingfields, which was Susan's grandparents. Great-grandparents. And so we were able to get the building after it had gone through many owners and tried to restore it to what it looked like. So there's a lot of photos, and we're just really now starting to take donations on things that would go to the history, not just of the village, but of the surroundings geologically and historically and archaeologically and all of that.
Yeah, part of the project has also just been to build up a collection that we can use going forward. But we're still happy to take things in. This is just our first round of exhibits and what we have now out on display and trying to get our general story out there. So come on down, and maybe it'll spark some ideas if people say, hey, I have that in my attic or wherever. And we'd be happy to build up the collection from here.
And it's important because so many people that move here, like myself, been here 20 years and people still treat us as newcomers.
Yep.
And so there's all the history. And then we have master plans where we are, comprehensive plans today and where we want to go in the future. And we just want people to understand that they can be part of the Ruidoso culture, which has been hard to define. And so that's what we're trying to do is the history, the present, and where we're going in the future. So thanks for all the hard work, and we're excited.
She's done such a great job. That house is over 100 years
Yeah.
now. And with the committee and the mayor, the council, and the committee that in White Mountain certainly did a nice job on it. So,
White Sands?
White Sands, thank you.
Yeah, the contractor.
I'm just very, very proud of it.
Excellent. So thank you very much, Stephanie. We look forward to it.
See you guys there.
You bet,
Yes,
you
Stephanie.
certainly will.
Mr. T-Bone and Matt?
T-Bone. Looks like that recovery's still coming along. Yep.
And Mayor and Council, they're going to talk about the community cleanup. Also, they also had from the high school cheerleaders and the drill team or whatnot about
tomorrow.
It's homecoming, and they wanted to put some ribbons around some of our light poles and things like that also. All right.
So I'll start with the ribbons and get that out of the way real quick. The cheerleading group has requested to put blue and gold ribbons around the Midtown light poles. We've requested, if y'all are okay with it, our big request would just be them take it down after the.
Do we have a policy on that? Because we've had, in the past, other.
I do not know of a policy we have. That doesn't mean no, but I'm not one that I'm aware of.
But I think that because it's community-oriented and all of that, things that we should certainly be in favor of it, but.
We do a lot of stuff that partners with the schools that kind of, only the schools is allowed to do certain things. Schools or community organizations.
That's the wedge I think that it falls into, so.
Yes, sir.
Will they be going back at a point to retrieve those?
Yes, that will be part of the requirement is next week they'll have to have them down, so.
Okay, sounds good to us. I think you have the consensus of the council
Yeah,
that
that's
we're
great.
moving on, that's good.
Yep, I'll let him talk
Since
about
we
the
won a
cleanup.
game and we got homecoming coming up
Wow.
this Wednesday and a bonfire of all things.
Well, it's tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, sir, T-Bone.
Mr. Mayor, Council, Manager Sena. This is our big river cleanup, which is a little complicated this year. We've been looking at some areas of the river and we're picking out areas that we deem safe. I looked at the forecast at, the Thursday and Friday before the Sunday, the 20th. There's a 30% chance of rain, but on Sunday there isn't. So we're going to send our volunteers to those sections we deem safe and pick up the little items that you need tractors or buried, we're not going to be able to get. We're going to have solid waste help us with a couple guys, and our guys, and we'll be picking up everything that we can and taking it to the solid waste.
So we're actually going to be in the river, on the riverbank, picking up all the little trashes.
Yes, we're going to hopefully get many volunteers and do what we can.
Okay, so bring your knee braces there, Ron.
Or your galoshes.
Yeah.
And an example is, you guys always do Rio Street.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, right there, that property we own on Eagle.
Yes, sir.
That would be a great place to
Stage.
send some people and pick up stuff right
Yeah.
there.
So if we find some heavy stuff, because just what I've been walking through and we've called and people have actually we've had our people pick it up. Swing sets that disappeared, benches that turn up, you see a corner that need to be dug out. Things like that we'll be working on too, that if it's too big, that we can document where it's at and then try to go back later with
We
some
can try and go
equipment.
back. We don't have any heavy equipment for this cleanup.
But I mean, we could, if we document where it's at, we could go get it.
Yeah, document the location and get it back to us, then we can have an idea of where some of that stuff is.
Yep.
I mean, I know the whole river's dirty, but if we can slowly pick it up. we-
Yep.
And Mayor and Council, I spoke to Ernie Byers of Universal Waste, and
Yes.
he is, if you need some roll-offs, whatever you need, contact him, and he's willing to help. So,
What about, have we been in contact with the mayor in, or the in Las Cruces on the 200 volunteers they were talking about?
So I got a number today to call the assistant manager, and she did not answer my call.
Well, if you want me to, I'll call the mayor tomorrow.
Yeah.
I know him, we just appointed him to a new position, the mayor's caucus, so I'll call him. But that was really a benevolent offer for them, and we just need to see if we can work it.
And Mayor and Council, her name is Sonia. She did reach out to me yesterday. She said they will have volunteers. They won't have them, I don't think, for the weekend. They want to do it during the weekdays.
Yeah, so they're paying them to be here.
Well, we actually talked about it, and we thought it would be better not to have them on that day.
Okay.
Because then we're managing two different types of groups that can do different things. And so this one, we want the community group to be able to do the smaller stuff they can, and then I think it's actually City of Las Cruces employees that are more adapt to working in those conditions and stuff.
Oh, it's not office personnel?
I don't believe so.
I could just see them down here.
That can do some of that heavier working and stuff, and
Okay,
so
well,
we
that's
want to
great.
coordinate that sometime during the week where we can work with them. And
So this is your Tas no Mas,
Tas no Mas.
and you have T-shirts and,
I got some swag coming, and it's supposed to be all recycled, so hopefully comes on time. They said it would be. And we're gonna have T-shirts, we'll give vests, we have gloves, I'll have some trash picker-uppers for,
well, I've got my own. I'm a professional.
and have some swag, and we're not, usually we do a raffle.
Yes, sir.
We're not gonna do that this cleanup. The town's been hit hard, don't wanna go hit up all the businesses.
I agree, that's a great idea.
But we are gonna, I do have a couple sponsors, Slotsky's giving chips, the hospital's giving hot dogs and buns, and we'll buy the,
Who you got cooking them?
I think this gentleman over here to my right,
Well-
Mayor.
I haven't asked anyone else. If he doesn't come, I'll be cooking.
Okay,
I must have got fired.
excellent.
But actually, consider this an invitation
Yeah,
to come out, and all of Ruidoso and everybody, so.
well, we've already started advertising it for you, but we appreciate, it's always a big hit. You get a lot of people out, and it's a fun time, it really is,
Yes.
to come out and clean up. So thank you.
October 20th at noon.
12:30 registration, that's after church. We have football, we got soccer, so we try to do it on Sundays so we can
Right,
get,
right.
after church, so we can get kids. We'd like to hopefully educate and inspire some kids. They can yell at their parents if they throw anything out the window.
Yep, it does work, sure
Where are you
does.
cooking the dogs?
What's that?
Where are the dogs being cooked?
At Wingfield Park.
Wingfield Park, what time? 10 o'clock?
3 o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna
Service
start,
time's 3 o'clock.
Do I need
service
to be there
times
at 1?
Your normal kitchen.
There is a problem area. And I've said this 4 or 5 times. It's on Meacham Drive. It's right where the Adobe Plaza and those cabins, but they're,
on
Or
both sides,
Canyon where that
on both
comes-
sides of the river.
Yeah.
but no, it is on the road. It's on the roadway.
No,
It's
I
a
saw the
mattress.
mattress. I saw
and
the mattress.
We got to get that out of there.
Okay, we can send.
Well, and that's part of the pickup plan,
But-
and it's
but
on a
that-
list like everybody else in town waits on.
I know, Mayor, it's wedged between
Oh,
trees.
the mattress.
Yes,
Who
and
did we send over there to look at that last time? Big Boy, what'd you find out? Okay,
yeah, it just looks so bad.
We'll try and send a group there.
We'll support Adam and we'll send somebody over. to
Yeah.
get that
type,
portion.
yeah.
We'll get that knocked out.
Yeah, because I know they did pick up a big pile of stuff, and then there's that other stuff that's over on Gavilan Canyon that we've turned in by the RV park that's just on a list to get it cleaned out.
And over at at the ball fields at the.
Yes, sir,
Gavilan.
that's it.
Yep.
I do also want to let the council know that we have started the process now of cleaning out the duck pond at Alto Lake.
Yep.
So they started earlier this week, starting that process, so.
And they've started on the channels past the dam, the downside, and while I was there was 4 trucks going in and out dumping
They're
really.
quick, they move quick.
Yesterday, they
How
said
long
they were at 90%.
do you project?
3 weeks is what he told me a while ago. I was down there with Michael Chavez.
So we're hoping to be able to get that knocked out pretty quick.
Good work.
All right.
Anybody else? Thank you, gentlemen, appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Mr. Adam, you have the next two updates.
Starlight, Starbrat. See you tonight, yeah. So this is off Hull and Paradise, that road where you got your culvert tripped out. So what's the update?
So, right now, I have the water guys, as we speak, they're actually turning back on the water. They did the,
Park Canyon or Star? Yeah,
Park Canyon.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So my plan is to get Perk Canyon back in water. Fingers crossed, everything is gonna hold on Perk Canyon further up. Not sure exactly what's gonna go on. As soon as they get the water to hold, Josh is actually, he got me an inventory of the culverts needed to put back in to get the driveways and the roadway passable on Perk. It's gonna be temporary, just so people can get in and out and have water at their house. Then we will move over to Starlight. I'm hoping to get Starlight done before the first snow. We have the box culverts, the 6-foot box culverts there at the shop. We're gonna have to hire a crane to come put them in. We'll do some rock works at the head of the inlet to Starlight, and then we'll make that just a 2-lane coming down.
So everybody, it's where that big pond where the water wheel used to be.
Yes,
And so they dug all that out and they're gonna leave those trees or whatever in the middle.
yep, Ashley's trees.
Ashley's?
It's
Yeah,
more
right
like
here
an
in Waterway.
oasis.
And so you're gonna go around, put the big box culverts there, repave Starlight up so those people can have their main entrance back, because they have a back entrance.
Yes.
And then you're gonna be able to put a culvert under Paradise?
So the plan is to put the box culverts across Starlight, and then we'll do a design for some culverts downward where the actual culverts are right now to upsize those. But for now, to get Starlight passable, yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead.
So just to make sure, we are in compliance with any NRCS BR 549Q whatever for going and doing this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are. The roadway is actually not a wetland, so we're good as far, in the roadway. National Guard did their thing to clean out the basin and stuff there. And like I said, the Paradise part is also in the roadway, so we're not actually in the wetland.
And yesterday, I think I saw RUI? Is that-
AUI.
AUI, okay. They were there, backed up and digging. What's that? What are they doing there?
There's some manholes in the waterway there. They're waiting for concrete on some of the stuff they're doing in Upper Canyon, so I had them go over there and they're gonna raise some of those manholes that are covered up with dirt, so if we do get another flood, it doesn't cover them back up.
Cool, thank you.
So what about the northwest side there of Hull? I know it's private property.
Homeowners and talking to homeowners and see what they can actually do for us there and clean that out.
Because that needs to be cleaned up.
It does. Yeah, the more retention or detention we have, the better off we're gonna be, and that's been filled in quite a bit.
Adam, when you replace the culverts on Paradise Road, will you close the road to
We'll have
dig
to.
it all out and stuff?
Yes, sir.
And how long will that take to?
I'm hoping it's not gonna take too long, it just depends on, we're gonna have to do some exploratory digs, because just like last time, we're gonna cut across Paradise, before Starlight.
Right.
And we have it, between the sewer line and the gas line, there wasn't enough room.
Yeah.
So we actually have culverts in there now, but we'll have to actually expose the gas line and get some elevations and stuff and see what we can do. Now, on that one, we can put more culverts or bigger culverts, we just gotta see where we're at when we get to that point.
Okay.
But when you say not very long, does that mean to you that might be a week? To others that live there, that's a day's too long. What do you think?
I
Swag?
think it'll be maybe a couple days, not contiguous, for exploratory, and we'll open it back up at the end of the days.
Got it.
As far as putting the culvert in, you're probably looking 2-3 days, Josh? 2 or 3 days to get it open back up, once we dig it.
Okay, so can we go back to Perk Canyon? So you're gonna find out today if all your water is good.
Yeah, they're actually turning back on the water right now. They did put some valving in, so if something does happen.
You can valve them in. So what's the availability of our culverts? Do we have culvert inventory where we can go in and put them in so people can get
We
to the homes?
we do have some culverts on the ground, and I've already identified a vendor that has the culverts ready to go.
Okay, and you know where the road's at enough? Because when I was up there, sometimes I couldn't tell where it was at.
Yeah, Josh and I went up there and identified the places that need to be dug back towards the bank, and the culverts put in, you know, the driveways for people to access and stuff like that.
Is there still a lot of silt all over the roads and everything there?
There's a little bit. The guys went up there not too long ago and actually knocked everything off and made it passable. You know, it's still pretty sketchy getting up there, but I want to make sure that if it does snow by chance, that people are, you know, it's halfway decent for them to get to their homes.
I had somebody at church that cannot get to their house. How long, I know that you don't know approximately, but how long do you think that this is going to take to get into Perk?
I'm gonna say if let's say today, if the water holds and everything is good with it, by the end of the week, Josh will probably get a guy up there just to start grading and putting some mailings in and make it passable.
Okay.
Now to get the culverts in, that's gonna be a different story. That's gonna be probably a couple weeks.
And if you have to go get that mattress she's complaining about, that'll hold you up a whole nother day or two.
I'll put it.
Use that for filler.
No, I forgot Parks and Rec's gonna take care of that.
Now, here's the deal. I thought that we were trying to at least get the town that
I'm just
looks
pulling
like-
your legs, is he? Don't-
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
I know he's got a lot of
I'm
work.
not complaining. It just doesn't look good. It looks like that we're not taking care, and I understand.
Adam, I'm sorry I opened that can of worms.
No,
Well, but that's part of where, T-Bone, we talked about getting a crew, because right across there, we still have a lot of litter that's all back up towards Perk and Brady, that people that are healthy, have strong ankles and knees, need to go back in that area to pick up the little trash. And so is the National Guard done?
They're done. Yep, they pulled out, we helped them wash their equipment and.
Said
on the
bye.
way.
Poor Adam, he had some tears, Mayor.
No, he was,
My heart's broken.
no, he was whipping and spurring those guys. They weren't used to that kind of.
I had them lined out by the time they left, though.
Yeah, they were.
Oh,
Yeah, so, all right, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I was just pulling your leg
I know.
because he normally gets
I'm
all
not
over that
complaining.
stuff.
I'm not yes, they're so, they attend to things so fast. It's just, it doesn't look good.
Thank you.
Mayor,
So if anybody listens to the radio show, that's Twinkle Toes right there.
yes.
He has his own song and everything.
Mayor and council, just one other item. Staff, we're working on the boards and commission appreciation mixer.
Yes.
I've sent out to different vendors for sponsorship, Mayor, and it's been outstanding. So
Because
we'll
Mayor
continue.
didn't have any budget really this year. So we
So the mayor
cut.
always says we've been putting our knee pads on.
Yeah, okay, so we've been asking and begging people to help us out and,
And I'll stand for any other questions. Thank you.
okay. Any questions for the manager? Okay. Thank you very much, Ron. Thank you guys very much. Let me see, we're public mayor reports, village manager report, reports from municipal officials. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have anything you'd like to talk about?
One thing I really am happy, and it's just exciting to see all the kids at the new playground.
Oh, wow.
At Schoolhouse Park. I mean, it's amazing.
That's a home run for you guys.
If you haven't walked on that surface up
It's
there, get there.
magical.
Yeah, it's really great, but, great job, Matt, T-Bone, because every time I go by, there must be about 50 kids playing. So that means there's 50 parents there or something, or who knows, but it's really well done. That's all I have, Mayor.
And the fence is great. You don't have to
Yes.
worry about them going out in the road. So great. Yes, ma'am.
I really don't have anything, just to reiterate how much I appreciate the hard work. Very much. Thank you.
Councilor Eby?
Oh, thank you, Mayor. Well, I did go to the New Mexico Municipal League here with the mayor, since he is the president there, and he ran a pretty tight meeting there. But we did finalize or approve the legislative priorities. The New Mexico Municipal League is, say return to work. That was the one that they worked on for a good 12 years that I know of.
Yep.
They kept after it, and finally they got it through. And so you see that we have some fruits of that. So they are working forward on water. And I was surprised to see that the state, as far as all of your municipalities, when they add up all the, let's say, unfunded water projects, it's $1.25 billion statewide, and of course, that's probably lowball. So there's a lot of communities that are in the same boat we are as far as water. You know, they need money. Everybody needs the money. I think Albuquerque was somewhere in the neighborhood of 270 million.
Yep.
Something like that. And then it blows your mind what some of these small communities need, 70 million. It's something else. But they're hard at it because they say that the state's got a lot of money right now, so they're going after it. So hats off to the Municipal League for their work, and it is kind of heartbreaking to split those, the couple in here with the RV park. You know, they'll never, ever be whole. And just as I went and looked at this one particular property in the Upper Canyon, and she'll never be made whole, and she's also to be with the mayor to testify in front of the OSI, but they keep.
Office of Superintendent of Insurance.
Yes, so, but they keep pushing that back. 'Cause
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of us.
They don't want them to testify, so they keep changing the meeting.
It's with the insurance companies and some of the flack that's going on, so.
Sure, go ahead.
Well, no, that's it, and we've got this lady that lost everything in Upper Canyon.
Yeah.
And of course, flood insurance only covers a small portion and all those other things, and then it's nickel and diamond, and so it's just a lot of the issues that we're having.
It is.
And she's supposed to testify, and I'm supposed to testify, but the insurance companies don't want us to. I don't know.
Well, you know why they don't want you to, but she did say that she was contacted because that they said hers was the perfect case.
Yes.
To go and to present it and testify, and that the mayor was also going to be scheduled with her, but it's just a lot of heartbreaking stories here in town, and we just hope people can make it through. But it is, one positive note is that the GRT had a little uptick, and Stephanie was a little bit, as far as her reporting, that the Midtown merchants are starting to see a swing around, so that's a positive note. So I think the town's going to make it through.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Councilor Jackson?
Mr. Mayor, thank you. I just wanted to give a shout out really to the village manager's office and all those he oversees. As I read through his report, the grants that we've obtained, the ones that are in process, I don't think people have a real idea of how difficult it is to qualify for the grant. Yet after the grant, then you have to follow up to make sure you meet all the provisions of it. And it's a lot of stewardship, and I think they need to be congratulated. And we're not talking tens of thousands, we're talking millions.
Yes.
And there was a whole list of them, and I just wanted to say that. The only other thing was I do appreciate the EOC meetings that we have that give us an update, because I know the fire and the flood, it's almost like a funeral. It's over and everyone forgets about it, but not so, because now we're in a real stage of recovery. And with the alphabet soup that I listen to, my head just swims. So I realize that everyone's fighting to get what they need, and many times what they can't get. And I just wanted to highlight that. That's all I have.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Councilor Hooker?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things. The Oktoberfest in Midtown at Downshift was a good event. I think it was good for our community. The parade, having the village having a float, and then having all the machinery, and the big hit. And again, I think it goes to show that the way ahead is recovery. Yesterday is another indicator of how dependent we are on cell phones and internet. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but, prepare yourself. Take care of yourself. Get stuff at home. Get things so you can take care of you and your family, because when this stuff goes out, to sit there and go, well, where's the government? Where are they going to help me? Well, we know what that looks like. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Again, we're going to have Johnny Montoya on with Windstream here in a little bit, because we've always talked about redundancy. And so before I go on to the next thing, is that early voting has started in Carrizozo. Next week, it will be at ENMU, so go vote. It's your opportunity, and that'll be at ENMU. So we want to go on. So next we'll move on to public hearings because I know we have the guys with Tularosa Basin online. This is a public hearing for proposed ordinance 2024-06, an ordinance granting certain rights and privileges to Tularosa Telecommunications, Inc., or Tularosa Basin Telephone Company, its successors, and assigns the non-exclusive franchise license, right, and privilege to construct, erect, operate, and maintain its telecommunication business within the limits of the village of Ruidoso. And so this is a public meeting, and do we have anybody that would
Mayor, Mayor and Council, this is just the franchise agreement.
schedule it?
Yes, this is the actual franchise agreement, and again, they are requesting it. This allows them to provide any type of broadband within the village limits and.
But it's a public hearing. Are we not supposed to open it up to the
Yes.
public? Okay.
Exactly.
Well, do we have anybody with Tularosa Basin that wants to speak?
Mayor and Council, Daniel, I'm sorry, I forget his last name, the general manager of TBTC Telecommunications, contacted me earlier that he wasn't able to be here.
Okay.
And I explained to him what the process would be and that I would talk with him afterwards.
Okay. Well, we'll open it up to the public. Is there anybody in the audience here that would like to speak for or against this? Anybody online? Are we watching online? Nothing? Nada? Okay, this is not a big controversy.
Madam Clerk, did you receive any correspondence or input from the public via email, telephone call?
Mayor and Councilor Salas, no, I did not.
Thank you.
The solace question, I can't believe we forgot
Man,
that.
I was falling asleep.
Yeah. So, don't see anything there. We'll close the public session and then I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve adoption of ordinance 2024-06, an ordinance granting certain rights and privileges to Tularosa Telecommunications, Inc., i.e. Tularosa Basin Telephone Company, its successors, and assigns the non-exclusive franchise license right and privilege to construct, erect, operate, and maintain its telecommunications business within the limits of the village of Ruidoso.
Second.
Discussion? None? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
All right. And so next we will have item number 1, regular discussion and possible action on Sierra Blanca Regional Airport, reinstating ramp fees to allow the village to increase revenues needed to operate the Sierra Regional Airport. And our manager, Lee Baker's here. So go ahead, Mr. Baker.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. So we're proposing to reinstate the ramp fees, as you said. They were discontinued, thinking a couple of years ago. And after everything that's happened, want to try to recoup some revenue. So generally what we get, we have first of all, we have an old ramp fees, and I went in and looked them over, and I raised them some between $5 and $25, depending on the size of the airplane. So not a big increase of what was already there, because we still want to make it inviting for people to come here and not have to spend a lot of money on ramp fees. So the main traffic that we get in the summertime is mid-sized jets. Our net jets, flex jets, they're the ones that bring in most of the people. So what I put together here is something to do with that size jet, so it's just an average. Mid-sized jets are approximately half of our traffic at SBRA. SBRA averages approximately 200 mid-sized jets per month during the summer. So ramp fees for those jets would be $85. So 200 jets times $85, 30 days is approximately $17,000 of revenue, just off the ramp fees. So the current fuel price, what we're looking at doing is if they buy the minimum fuel, then we'll waive 1 night of ramp fees. So the current fuel price is $5.50 a gallon, and so on the mid-sized jets, a 50-gallon fuel purchase would be the minimum. That would be approximately $275 times 200 aircraft is $55,000, which is with the current markup, we have a revenue base of approximately $22,500.
Excellent.
That's good.
I don't see any issues. We've reviewed all these. I know that we were performing a little experiment with the Airport Advisory Board that we had at the time about ramp fees and whatnot. And we did run a trial, and we've decided we think we need to go back.
Do you need a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
I move that we reinstate ramp fees for Sierra Blanca Regional Airport to allow the village to increase revenues needed to operate the Sierra Blanca Regional Airport.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Solis?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
All right, item number 2, discussion possible action on change order number 1 on ITB 2024-001B with American Road Maintenance to perform pavement maintenance on 2 areas. On the apron, remove markings, apply crack seal, apply seal coat, and apply markings in the amount of $87,000, including New Mexico GRT. So what's this one?
Okay, the village received a grant in 2023
Yes, sir.
for a rehab project on Taxiway Bravo. There was funds left over from that, approximately $200,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the state wants us to use that money,
And we want to use that.
and we want to use it. And so we're asking the state to reallocate that money
Okay.
from the Taxiway Bravo project to this ramp rehab project. So it falls in conjunction with the project we have going on out there right now, where they're doing the rehab on Alpha. And then a portion of the ramp is already in that project. So we're going to take some of that money off of that Bravo project and be able to expand the space that we're going to do the rehab on the ramp.
Okay.
So we're looking at approximately 190,919 square feet more of ramp space from the main ramp over towards the ARF building.
Yes, sir.
And then another 25,269 square feet of ramp space over in the hangar area.
Okay, and everyone saw the letter from Armstrong Consultants, now it's a Lautner company, from Tim Archibek. Everybody knows him very well, explaining and actually encouraging us to do it. Does anyone have any questions?
Mayor Crawford, members of the council, Tim is online.
Okay, Mr. Tim.
Yay, how you doing, Mayor? Council?
Good. Thank you for hanging around.
Yeah, sorry, we're both me and I have Mike Garcia here. We're both on the road today, so we're calling in and making sure if you had any questions.
I think everybody's convinced here. We appreciate everything that's going on out there right now. This looks like a good use of funds if we can make sure we get it, so.
Yeah, one thing, Mayor, I'd like to make this is 100% grant, so it's not costing the village anything at all, so.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we just need them to reauthorize it, is that what it is?
Yes, sir, yes.
Okay. All right, well, Tim, I appreciate your help and your diligence always with the Village of Ruidoso. Thank you.
And Mayor and Council, I've already reached out to Jane Lucero, reauthorizing the funds.
Okay, and what did she say?
She's always great. So she was on vacation and she still replied, so.
Okay, excellent.
And Mr. Mayor, this isn't something, we can't reallocate this to flood.
No.
We can't reallocate this to fire recovery. This is something that's been earmarked and established for a project such as this.
Yes, and we get that question a lot, why aren't you spending the money over here? Because it's money that was allocated for this, that we applied for, so very particular.
I used to ask that question.
Yeah. So I get a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve change order number 1 on ITB 2024-001B with American Road Maintenance to perform pavement maintenance on 2 areas on the apron, remove markings, apply crack seal, apply seal coat, and apply markings in the amount of $87,000, including New Mexico GRT.
Second.
Any other discussion? A roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Solis?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Item number 3 is discussion and possible action on renewal of RFP number 2022-008P, contract for goods and services between the Village of Ruidoso and Valor Telecommunications of Texas LLC, DBA Windstream Communications for broadband expansion. Good afternoon, Mr. Montoya. Appreciate you hanging on.
Good afternoon, Mayor and members of the council. Good to be with you. Sorry I couldn't be there in person.
Well, that's quite all right. We understand you got things you got to do. And so there's no additional funding and whatnot. Is there any way you could give us a quick update on, I know you guys have got a lot of the fiber put in and you're working around town. We see the boring trucks and whatnot. How's that coming along? Do we have any time in the future, completion time?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity to give you an update. We are still moving forward. Crews we've brought in-house. We've got 5 crews on the ground in Ruidoso. Things are moving along. Permitting's moving along. And we have a hard internal deadline, and we built a lot of time in here for weather of July. To have the entire project completed by July is our deadline. But depending on weather and everything else, obviously, we're going to move that up if we can get it done sooner. So still moving forward. Permitting is going well. And what this action item does, Mayor and members of the council, is it extends the master agreement. No more money, nothing other than extending the term of the deadline of the master agreement that expired on September 31st till December 31 of next year, just to give us some time.
Okay. Anyone have any additional questions? Now, someone told me that y'all had extended service a little bit further than what you had intended to. Is that true, or was that just a rumor?
I think that we have extended where we could. We've got some Ruidoso Downs. We're looking at some processes there. Obviously,
Yes.
the airport is an area that we're going to extend to. But with the issues that happened in Ruidoso, we've re-engineered a lot of our initial plans, and we're extending wherever we can.
And I don't know if you're aware, but yesterday, I still don't know what the problem was, whether it was in Alto, whether it was in Mescalero or in Las Cruces. We haven't got a date with TDS, but we lost Verizon, we lost AT&T, and our internet throughout most of the community for, 6 hours? And so we're really hoping that once we get you guys in, we have a redundancy built in on our system. So when we have things like that happen, because I actually got phone calls wanting to know, do you have cash on you? Because people can't use their cards to pay for gas. They couldn't buy groceries and a lot of other things. And so those are issues that's what I think Councilor Hooker was alluding to, is you got to be prepared. And so do you have any input on things like that, or how to avert that in the future?
I do, Mayor and members of the council. This is as far as I know from our perspective. During the fires, we worked collaboratively with a bunch of industry partners to get things up as soon as possible. Part of that plan was we rerouted some of our facilities through Mescalero Apache Telecom through Mattie. It's my understanding yesterday that there was a cut on a Mattie fiber line, which affected us, obviously, since we rerouted through them during the fires. Yesterday, we rerouted that back onto our network over through Carrizozo, which is why we were able to get back up. So That's what I had gotten a report on this morning. And that's my report on that, Mayor. I understand there's also some initiative happening, some discussions regarding redundancy around the mountain there in Ruidoso for these issues, as you said, going forward, how we resolve these permanently.
Yes, thank you very much. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Montoya?
No, thank you.
Okay, can we get a motion?
I move that we accept the renewal of RFP 2022-008P, contract for goods and services between the Village of Ruidoso and Valor Telecommunications of Texas, LLC, DBA Windstream Communications for broadband expansion.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, members of the council.
Item number 4, discussion and possible action on resolution 2024-42, a resolution suspending time limits for certain planning and zoning applications. Hello, Stephanie. Good to see you again, Alex. Okay, let's go.
Mayor and council, this is an item that came about from our Planning and Zoning Commission meeting earlier this month, where we had a request for variance come up for a property that was, the home was destroyed during the recent fire. It was thought to be a good idea, and staff does agree, to have a suspension of the rules regarding a reconsideration by the Planning and Zoning Commission of an item that is denied by that board or by that body, to suspend that due to the, I guess, unprecedented situation of the number of homes and the, I would guess, the time pressure stress and what not that goes along with that, with the properties that have been damaged, destroyed, they're going to be rebuilt. So that is why the attorney, Mr. Cook, prepared the ordinance. Here, we would offer up a friendly amendment to a more specificity about the specific section where the time limit of 12 months for a cooling off period or the allowance for, the prohibition, I guess, for a filing of the exact same case is 12 months, and that is contained in section 5461, subsection F, subsection 2.
Okay. Any questions? I mean, it makes perfect sense with everything we're going through.
It's, yeah.
I agree.
So, remind me what the suspension time was going to be. Was it for 2 years?
It is currently 1 year is
1 year.
what is in the ordinance. Again, that, but with similar to the one that was put in place to allow for people to occupy RVs as their residence. The council may bring it up, of course, at any time, but it would be set to expire October 8th, 2025, unless extended.
Okay. Any comments? I just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2024-42, a resolution suspending time limits for certain planning and zoning applications.
Second.
Roll call?
And that would be with the suggested amendment?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hooker?
Yes.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Item number 5, discussion and possible action on multi-award of RFP 2025-001P, professional engineering services for watershed projects to Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Natural Channel Design Engineering, Inc., and Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects. Hi, ladies. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. Mayor and council, so we went out for an RFP for our professional engineering services for watershed projects. We did receive 6 bids. We ended up going with our top 3, and those would be the Cobb Finley and Associates, Natural Channel Design Engineering, and Wilson and Company.
Yep.
Okay.
I move that we accept the multi-award of RFP number 2025-001P, professional engineering services for watershed projects to Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Natural Channel Design Engineering, Inc., and Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects.
Second.
Okay, discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Bob Finley's got a lot of work to do. Discussion and possible action, item number 6 on professional services agreement with Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Natural Channel Design Engineering, Inc., and Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects for watershed projects awarded through RFP 2025-001P.
These are just the contracts for the.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve professional service agreements with Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc., Natural Channel Design Engineering, Inc., and Wilson and Company, Inc., engineers and architects for watershed projects awarded through RFP 2025-001P.
Second.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on task order RFP 2024-004P-02 with Cobb Finley and Associates, Inc. for surveying and engineering services to create a storm drain infrastructure asset inventory in an amount not to exceed $154,491.75, including New Mexico GRT.
This is a task order that we're asking for Cobb Finley to go out and survey and engineer all of the storm drainage infrastructure within the village. Not only is it needed within our asset inventory, but this will also help with their modeling to make sure we get the most accurate data.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Where's the funding for this coming from?
SGRT.
Okay.
Okay.
I move that we accept task order RFP number 2024-004P-02 with Cobb Finley and Associates Incorporated for surveying and engineering services to create a storm drain infrastructure asset inventory in the amount not to exceed $154,491.75, including New Mexico GRT.
Okay.
I second it.
Second.
Well, usually Joe does that.
I need some people to earn their keep down there, all right? I'm just saying.
Is there any other discussion going on? Nope. Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 8, discussion and possible action on task order RFP 2024-003P-STAN-02 Upper Sudreth Revitalization Project with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for the total project cost not to exceed $864,746, no cents, including New Mexico GRT. Yes, sir, Ron.
Mayor and council, finally, we're able to move forward with we were awarded an EDA grant.
No, shocker.
And we were also awarded the state matching funds, so it's
100%.
100%.
Beautiful.
So this is one piece of it. This is going to be for the revitalization of the Upper Sudreth.
Yes.
At a later meeting, possibly at the special meeting on the 23rd, is that the 23rd, 24th? We may have Bohannon Houston with theirs for the high T project. So that'll be our next part of this grant. They combine them together. So this is the one part, and then we'll bring over the second part. So be working with Judy again and getting Alex over there trained on this EDA grant. I've done them in the past, so I'm going to pass the baton to Alex.
And was this Trish Corbis?
Yes.
Most of this come through. I saw the email from her, so we appreciate
Yes.
her working with us on this and other economic drivers that we're putting in for consideration. So,
Absolutely. So this will be another great project, and we're excited to begin.
we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve task order RFP 2024-003P-STAN-02 Upper Sudreth Revitalization Project with Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. for a total project cost not to exceed $868,746, no cents, including New Mexico GRT.
Second.
Okay, final discussion? Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
Thank you very much. That'll be a good project.
Yeah.
We were working on those before, and then the high tea, that'll be something, long time. So if I can get a motion, to move into closed session.
Mr. Mayor, move that we move into closed session for discussion of limited personnel matters, citing 1015-1H2, NMSA 1978. Further discussion subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the Village of Ruidoso is or may become a participant, citing 1015-1H7, NMSA 1978. And finally, discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and/or disposal of real property under water rights by the Village of Ruidoso, citing 1015-1H8, NMSA 1978. Any action taken as a result of the closed session will be brought back into open session, and I so move.
Second.
Roll call, please, ma'am.
Counselor Jackson?
Aye.
Counselor Salas?
Aye.
Counselor Hooker?
Aye.
Counselor Letterman?
Aye.
Counselor Eby?
All right, thank you, everyone, and we'll, yeah, Christelle and Ashley, and then are we gonna need DC too?
Yeah, let's bring these.
We'll get him in and out. Thank you.